Hey guys, welcome to episode 251 of 4 Player Animecast. It is mid-July, 13th of July to be exact, 10:13 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over on the East Coast of the United States. I was dying of heat about a week ago, but now things have slightly cooled down after torrential rainfall here. Pretty good overall. I am, again, your host, Spire, and with me are my compatriots Near,
So,
Toast,
Uh,
and Dark.
Hello.
All right, so we're gonna start off our summer 2024 anime season. It's the usual. We're gonna probably try to cover some of the lighter stuff or some of the series that have already come out with a lot of episodes, stuff like Netflix series. So we're gonna try to cover those first and then cover some of the, I guess, more less episodic ones as the season goes on. But anyways, how about we just start off with our 2 weeks here? Real briefly, Near, how's your 2 weeks or however many weeks, like 4 weeks, since the preview show been?
um, well, Final Fantasy 14 Dawn Trail came out,
Yes, sir.
so playing the fuck out of that. Beat the MSQ for it. It's pretty good, I'd say. I think it's pretty good. A lot of people find it pretty divisive, but I liked it. So, you know, yeah. On that, Zenless Zone Zero also came out. So I've been playing that. I gotta admit, I was not fucking with it. At first, like the game is fun. The combat is really good in my opinion. The story's like, the beginning of the story is like okay, um, but the like exploration gameplay where you're like traveling along the grid or whatever, get through the area to get to the actual combat is like shit. It's really not engaging at all. And it takes a long fucking time for it to get anywhere near uh, any sort of substantial amount that you would call any like gameplay of anything. But once it gets there, it's pretty fun, I'd say. Um, and once some other characters show up, the story's actually like entertaining. So it's been fun.
Okay.
My gacha luck's also been not too shabby in that. So, you know, there's that. But other than that, just the usual, with other gacha shit. Mobile games, playing Mahjong, the usual, right?
Mhm. All right. Pretty good. Pretty good. What about you, Dark?
I've also been playing Final Fantasy Dawn Trail. Been playing a lot of it. Um, yeah, kind of got really rich. Well, pretty rich, not like really rich, but just been constantly making money in it. Spent all of it, made a lot back. You know, the good stuff. Also beat it. I think I beat it in like 2, 3 days, something like that. The MSQ, and yeah, it was fun. It was good. Um, it is divisive for the media illiterate and for people who play the game in English because they still do that and they're stupid.
In the
Um,
year 2024.
yeah, I mean, you're presented with your option of A-list celebrities in one language essentially or English theater people in the other. And it's like, I wonder who's going to give a better voice performance. The cast that has like side characters of like voice actors who have like, 3,000 roles under their belt or the theater people.
Except
Wait a
it's
minute.
not theater people anymore because they're
Oh yeah, no, now they're hiring in LA again apparently.
yeah, they're
Now it's not
hiring in
even
the
like
US and recording in the US, so it's not even like
yeah, so it's like even worse now.
yeah.
Like cool. Yeah, apparently that was what it was in ARR as well. So
Yep.
we're back. we're back, folks. Um, but yeah,
Only the best.
ultimately, like its English dub was never like I don't know, man. Like I never really fucked with it. I think some voices are okay. I think other voices are horrifically miscast. Um, but you know, it is what it is. But
Yeah.
yeah, good game. I've also been playing Zenless Zone Zero quite a bit.
Yes,
And
yes, yes.
yeah, I really like that game, but you literally like have to approach it as if you're starting like a Persona game. Because it's definitely like really inspired like the overworld stuff, I would say. Seems very similarly inspired by Persona in a lot of ways.
Mhm.
Um, and it's like, yeah, that's a slow burn. Like that shit's gonna be introducing mechanics and stuff to you like 15 hours in. You're not literally farming for the artifact, like the armor pieces, until you're like also like 15 hours in or something. Like there is a lot to get through before you like
Okay.
get all the gotcha mechanics unlocked. But I think it's worth it. The exploration, the like TV stuff becomes like playable several hours in, and then I think it gets like decent like at that like 15-hour point. Like
Oh, okay, okay.
it is very fucking slow in the beginning because they force you to sit through shit while you're just like looking at the TV grid and it's like treating you like you're 5 years old with like, you know, things that are not even puzzles. But
Right,
yeah,
right,
you
right.
know, it gets there. I love the OST. I love the art. So I fuck with that. I think it's got a lot of charm. And then other
Mhm.
than that, I've just been you know, lamenting the anime season. Um, lamenting what's in front of us.
What are you talking about? We have
Yeah, what am
75
I talking
million
about?
animes per
I'm
season.
covering an 8.0 tonight. It's a fucking 8,
Yeah.
dude.
You're covering one you have the choice of 50 million anime per season. You have
Oh no,
so
I
much new
yeah,
anime.
there's only 50 anime per season now, and like, you know, prior years where there were 300 every season. So
300
that's true.
million every
300
season.
anime released every single season. I listen, I remember.
You
I
know,
remember the good old days.
we keep complaining that the problem with anime seasons
The
is
problem
the
is just that there's
multitude
not
of like the
enough.
same
Yeah,
stuff.
there's.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just there's not enough. That's what I
Yeah.
always think when I see 58
Yeah.
shows,
No,
and
no, no,
you know,
no. The
47 of them are
original
going to be
the original
isekai.
post was that people were just getting bored because there's so much new content and people can't keep up. And we were just like, no, like if there's it's because there's so much isekai. That was the countervailing argument. It's like it's
Yeah,
like, oh,
well,
it's just
yeah. I
because
mean,
there's so much anime. It's like,
the point
no,
was
it's
there was
because
so much
isekai.
anime, and like that's why it's
Yeah.
getting pruned down these seasons because
Yeah.
like there was
Yeah.
too
Yeah.
much, and it's like
Yeah.
apparently there were a
Yeah.
hundred shows airing at some point.
Yeah.
You
Oh
know,
my God.
I don't
Hey.
think we've ever hit like 70 in the years we've been doing this,
I don't think we've
right?
hit
Like I
60,
don't
and
think I don't
I've
think
been
we've
doing
hit
this
mid
again like
60s. Like,
way yeah, I
yeah,
think the
you've been doing this
highest
even longer. It's like,
yeah, I think I don't know whether because near you've been looking through some of my numbers earlier on and like Toast I guess
Yeah.
has as well, but I don't think we've ever gone above. I want to say that our max has been like 57 ever since we started this podcast, right? Like 57, 58-ish. I don't think we've cracked 60.
Yeah, I don't
Um
think so.
But yeah, it will be. But I think the scary part is by the time we crack 60, if we ever crack 60, which I don't think we will. And honestly, I think this might be like a thing for later, but feel like we're gonna see the reason why we're gonna see less anime series, slightly less, not like completely less, because there's still similar amounts of labor, but it's like the reason why we might see less isn't because people will suddenly go like, people don't want to watch as much anime. No, it's because um all of the consolidation and sort of like mergers and stuff like that and acquisitions that are going on right now in the animation industry and like the fact that people are just like, okay, I don't want to fucking contract to these guys. I'll just acquire or make my own in-house studio and then hire some like extra people from like Malaysia or like the Philippines or from North Korea or wherever, right? And that I think inevitably leads to, in my opinion, less series overall being made because these studios aren't being run out to do anime all over the place. It's more like just a couple of studios and publishers that have the power and have the money will get the anime projects, and there are only so many of them to go around, right? So I feel like because of that sort of like decreased amount of labor, or like not decreased amount of labor, but it's like a decreased amount of viable contractable labor, it'll actually slightly decrease over time, and that'll be the reason. But we'll
Yeah,
have to
I
see.
mean it's classic consolidation shit. Like,
Yeah. But yeah. Anyways, thank you for your 2 weeks, Dark. And I guess we'll move on to Toast. 2 weeks, please.
New Hollow Life members. They're all right.
Justice, right? I think was the name. Was
Yes,
that their name? Yeah, or group name, whatever. Yeah.
they're all right.
Okay. Pretty good to hear.
Green is the best color, obviously. Right near.
I haven't watched her yet, but she
You should
seems
watch
the
her.
most
She's pretty good.
she seems the most normal out of them.
Exactly. Green is the hot color. Pink is also pretty good. I mean, I see the appeal. I forget what color the other one is. Orange is all right, and then red. Well, she's okay. She's the best singer by far, but a lot of her streams have been on what is it, unarchived karaoke, so there's not a lot to watch by the VODs by. So I mean, take that as you will. I can't really judge her on that. Green's a
Mhm.
good color this season. Green and pink. What else? Also, the Dodgers, pretty cool.
Oh yes. I actually saw a video floating around on my YouTube feed about Hololive's cultural victory, right? Because it's like they managed to really. I think the Dodgers thing is a very
okay,
um
like it's interesting, but it's not a fucking cultural victory. Like, relax. It's a
yeah.
fucking Dodgers game. Like,
I think
Isn't
it's
isn't Dodgers game like the most sells the most tickets out of any other ball game though?
it sells a lot of tickets, and even if it
it's
sells the
I
most,
don't
it's still
think
fucking
it's
baseball. Like,
yeah.
Yeah,
I
but
I
think
know baseball is
the
called
Japanese
America's pastime, but it's
but
football. Like,
the
when
Japanese
these
love
motherfuckers are at
baseball.
like a Kansas
So,
City Chiefs game or something, or the Super Bowl, let me know. That's when you've
I
yeah,
like
think
but the
won.
Japanese love baseball. They all came for Otani, so they're like,
Yeah,
hey,
yeah,
well
we're Hollow Live.
exactly. So how is that a
yeah.
I'll
cultural
tickets.
win? Like,
I think what is interesting is that Hololive now has enough, um, I guess, like influence as a company to try and make these attempts to really break into the Western mainstream psyche in terms of these, like, like trying to do the sponsorships with the Dodgers or whatever, the collab stuff with the Dodgers. And
And
I wonder if it'll ever end up being like the issue is it's like even the K-pop situation with the what happened in the West eventually really needed that huge global cultural wave that affect I don't know, like I'm wondering if it'll be as big as K-pop eventually enough to really break into like weird Western shows and stuff like that. But we'll have to see, I think. Um, but yeah.
it would be
When's
crazy.
Gura gonna be
Look,
on Conan?
Jimmy
that,
Fallon.
yeah,
Yeah.
listen, like, I was thinking that. I was thinking, like, could you imagine if, RIP, John Madden was still with us and we had, like, a Madden halftime report brought to you by
Dana White
Hololive?
brings a Gargura to
Yeah,
fucking
like,
to like
this could be incredible.
lead off. Yeah. But
And
yeah,
it has Stephen A.
anything else?
Smith
Yeah.
talking to Gargura.
Oh my fucking god!
Hey, man,
Oh my god!
remember
Charles
Gargura?
Barkley talking about VTube, like analyzing VTuber specs. Yeah.
We already have
Uh,
VTubers in wrestling, you know. Don't forget
God,
that. Also,
yeah,
Gargura was in a Taco Bell commercial. Don't forget that.
yeah,
But yeah,
but yeah.
biggest
Anything else?
biggest line in Dodgers history. Take that. The line was
Hololive
so
fans
long
are
that
really something else. Like that line, like you know that if there's a proper Hololive merchandise line somewhere like not in Japan, you know that line will be fucking huge. It
yeah,
is like
but
that
I mean, you got to
tweet.
remember it was the double whammy though as well, because you also have,
Yeah.
like Nir and I were saying when this first came up, like you also have like the sports memorabilia like scalpers. So like they
Yeah.
see this and they're fiending, like they're raring to
Yeah,
fucking
pretty
go.
much.
Like
imagine
God,
standing in line for merch from whenever the stadium opened to was it like 1 a.m. or 3 a.m.
They're probably
Just
there
worth.
way before the stadium opened, my friend.
And as someone who stood in line for also an extended amount of time, I understand why.
yeah, those
But they missed
people
the
are
entire
probably
game.
there for
So it was like,
nearly 24 hours then, if that shit only closed at 1 a.m.
but yeah.
Yeah.
If you guys didn't know, I when Ado came to Chicago, I was in line for merch since like 8:30 in the morning, all the way
Jesus fucking
all the way until it opened at like what, we got in at 7 and we only got out around 10 or 11.
Yeah,
So
like
I was in
bro,
line
Although I
for
can't really blame Toast because I'm gonna have to probably do the same thing with Summer Comiket, but I'm gonna be fucking sitting in the on top of the blazing asphalt in the summer heat for like I don't know when I'm gonna have to arrive. I'm probably gonna have to
yeah, I
arrive at eight
genuinely
too,
think
eight or
you probably you would have
and
to pay me a pretty penny to do
Gotta
that
bring
shit.
that lawn chair, bro.
yeah, I didn't
they actually sell lawn chairs at like the
Of
small like mini
course.
chairs at
Yeah,
like
of
Daiso and
course.
stuff like that. Yeah.
when I was in line,
Oh,
there was a dude
God.
who brought like was it a $2 stools from I think like Walmart, and he was passing them around. But
Yeah. Those
but
small.
since you couldn't bring them in, there was luckily a dumpster nearby, so we just all threw that in there. I didn't get one though, but
God.
it was some dude behind me. But standing in
Mhm.
line, it was fun. I had a fun time. Lots of people to talk
Yeah.
to. I could
Mhm.
I could walk well from the because I was near. I guess I was like near the front ish. There was
Mhm.
only like what 20, 30 people in front of me, and it was what
Mhm.
half a mile or more behind me, half a block maybe. So it was fun. I could walk the entire line front and back, talk to people because I had new friends that reserved my spot. So I had a great time. And
Okay.
this was just for the merch line. But when the dudes who saw like the people who were holding the concerts saw that, like, all right, if people are gonna wait this long, this is just gonna be your entry line too. So yeah, take that, suckers. That's how I got in. That's how I got in to be super close into the. I got to see Seattle pretty close, like near the front line. So yeah, it was worth it,
Nice.
suckers.
Nice.
I also got merch. I got to go into the merch line 3 times. That was fun.
Jesus.
So yeah, I had
Yeah,
a good time. So waiting in line, as long as you have people to talk to and interact with, it's. I mean, it was probably worth it,
it's definitely
even though you're
bearable.
missing
Yeah,
the game.
more.
Even if you were missing a game, I guess. I don't
Yeah,
know though.
apparently, like the people who are waiting in the Hololive line miss like
The
all the innings
entire
or
game.
whatever. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
I mean,
Hey.
it's baseball, I guess. If you were waiting the Hololive line, you only wanted to see the girls, so
Mhm.
unless you want to watch baseball. But hey, man, do what you want. So
Yeah,
yeah,
but who
that
would
was fun.
ever want to do that?
It's at least it's better than the other collab.
Yeah.
The collab with the NBA, man.
Is it, dude?
I'm not buying the other. I see Chicago Bulls collab with a certain guy, but I'm not interested in it at all.
Oh yeah, I mean
So
it's
Mm.
better in that sense, but I think the collab itself was cool.
I mean, and it's not even with the actual NBA. It's through the distributor in Japan, like the streaming site or whatever, Rakuten, right? So that's why the NBA hasn't even announced it over here. And plus, you can't even buy the merch if you're in the US. So, like, come on, man. At least
All
give
right.
people the option. So, otherwise, whatever. Yeah.
All right. Well, anyways, thank you, Toast, for your 2 weeks. And I guess um my 2 weeks have been again pretty quiet. I've been kind of dialing in some projects and stuff like that, and getting ready to or buying stuff to get ready for my Japan trip in a couple of weeks now. So it's just kind of running around real life stuff, and obviously starting to wind up for some of this season stuff, or this upcoming season's anime. I saw a couple of stuff. Some of the series that I think I might want to cover. I tried watching Bye Bye Earth, a first episode. It's not as bad and furry fantastic as I had feared, slash expected, whatever. Um, but it's also I'm not entirely sure whether I want to cover it yet, so that'll be on the docket. So, but yeah, pretty quiet overall, I think. People in real life have been asking me to go out and like I'll go to off to like cook-offs and like barbecues and stuff like that. But for the most part, it's just like I don't want to go outside in this weather. Like, do not make me go outside in this weather, please, for the
You don't
love of
like
God.
high heat and high humidity? What?
Yeah. The worst part is also like even if it was like even if it was like just that, like maybe I could be okay with it if I'm just like kind of wandering around. But es- especially these days, like we're just at the temperature range where mosquito breeding hits at a fucking explosion. Like they multiply exponentially. So I'm like one and like flies to a certain extent too. So I one time I was running outside, like I was doing my run, and I was, like, running underneath some trees and stuff like that. It wasn't even, like, that much of, like, a muggy, like, jungle-like spot. I was just, like, running through, some sidewalks. I come back, I'm, like, washing my face, and like, from my hair falls out 3 fucking flies that had been, like, stuck because of all the sweat and stuff like that. And it's just like, "Come on, guys." Like, come on. I don't wanna be outside like this. The only reason I would run or the only reason I'll be outside is if, just to do my daily run. But, but yeah, that's been my 2 weeks. And I guess with that, we will start off on our reviews. First up on the line is Toast. What do you have for us?
Out of all the, you guys were always complaining about this season kind of sucks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
you're making me pick out probably the one of the best isekais of this season first, because
Yeah,
it sucks to.
Toast was actually we were talking about like what series to review and stuff like that. What series people want to watch. And Toast actually had one of these like where kind of bouts of oh, most of these isekais are just garbage, which he doesn't really usually say. Like he'll find a good spat of isekais usually every season. But this season was even too much for Toast. So
Yeah, I've
um
watched episodes ones of basically everything, and they're kind of bad. So,
yeah.
Shocking.
But yeah,
'cause I was
this
like,
one he is covering.
but yeah. So and then but I mean, this is the one. This is obviously one of the ones that I said, hey, I like this one straight off the bat, and guess what? I was right because I usually am right. My taste.
Mhm.
And due to the other ones that that I'm talking about, like
Mhm.
this is I didn't want to do this, but it's sort of the sacrificial lamb thing because
Mhm.
there's other stuff that I want to cover, but like later on.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess this since I know this one's good, even though there's only 2 episodes out, I could probably talk about it early.
Okay.
And the one I'm covering is Shinmai
You want me to?
Ossan Boukensha. Hell yeah.
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 So, Shinmai, Shinmai Ossan Boukensha. Saikyouパーティーに死ぬほど鍛えられて無敵になる。Or the Ossan Newbie adventurer, trained to death by the most powerful party, becomes invincible. So this is I think original Naroke Shosetsuka ni Naro web novel, then became a light novel, got a manga adaptation, and now it has an anime adaptation now, currently airing produced I think mainly by Umeta Company, I believe, right? So.
Yeah. And fun fact,
Mhm.
it's pretty obvious, but if you read the manga, this uses the manga's art instead of the light novel art, so that's a
Oh, okay.
plus.
Okay.
What has Yumeta Company done? Tokyo Mew Mew? Love Love? Hell yeah. Love
They've
Love?
done a
Hell
lot
yeah.
of they've done a lot of I want to say other kind of like throwaway series before, like yeah, like Q again, I guess you could say the new like Tokyo Mew Mew kind of stuff.
Cannon Busters?
Um
I don't even remember
oh,
that.
Renai Bokun, I think, right? Or
No, I don't think so.
no, that's not it. It
That's a
was
different one.
Akun to Kanojo. Yeah, that's a different one. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, they did Tamayura. Oh, they did Tamayura. What the fuck?
Hey
um.
man, are you just saying Tamayura? Wait, what? They did?
Oh
I don't
wait,
see
no, they
Tamayura on
did the
here.
other two
Oh,
seasons. They did like the worst seasons of Tamayura, and they did the worst season of Yuri Yuri, I believe. They did
I
season 3 of
don't
Yuri
think
Yuri.
that's Yumeta Company. I don't see that on the list. Uh,
Uh,
I see Akinto Kanajo, Tokyo Mimio, Cannon Busters, Kue, Kitsune no Koi. I don't know. Are you looking on
yeah. I'm
whatever?
looking on Wikipedia for this one. But yeah, they might
Oh,
have.
sure, maybe.
Yeah,
They changed names and sure.
yeah. But yeah, they've
Anyway,
done a couple of like sequels and like smaller stuff overall.
stuff. Anyway, so story is there's this dude named Rick Gladiator,
Yes.
and he's 32, which is apparently Ossan age,
Hmm.
and he's taking his F rank test to become an adventurer.
Hmm.
And the whole thing is that if you want to become an adventurer, you better do it while you're young, so you can train your magic. Because the older you are, the harder it is to train your magic level, and whatnot.
How? How?
Because when you're young, it's like drinking milk. Near you gotta drink milk when you're
like
younger, or
learning
else
a
your bones
language,
don't grow good. Physical growth here, you have to eat good when you're young, or else you'll become a sickly old man when you're 30.
Uh-huh.
Just like people nowadays.
Mhm.
But yeah, but he's he used to be a guild receptionist since he was 18. So, or when he was 18, so 14 years later, when he's 32, he decided, hey, I'll become an adventurer and study and take the F rank test. But don't worry, because for 2 years, after when he was 30, he was trained by the strongest S rank adventurers in the world guild party, the Orichalcum Fist, whatnot. So you know how it goes. He's he's an old man, but he was trained by the strongest party, so there's no way he's a regular old man and whatnot. And that's how the story's going so far. Right now, he's a current episode 1 was the introduction. He's taking his aptitude tests,
Mhm.
and you know, one of the tests was here, punch this green slime punching bed, and we'll measure your strength that way.
Mhm.
But but Rick was training against a golden slime punching bag. So, he easily destroyed it. It's kind of like the One Punch Man aptitude test thing. You saw that. Whatever.
Yes,
He,
yes,
he
yes.
exceeds in the physical stuff, and everyone's like, hey, why is this F rank taking this test? And why is he able to like withstand all my magic? Is this a joke and whatnot? That kind of thing. All you
Mhm.
got to know is he's strong, but he doesn't have the confidence yet because he's an old man. So he's fighting an uphill battle. And then the second episode is uh, he's just about to take his final exam. So two episodes of exam taking, pretty much.
Okay. So is this? I mean, you've read the like
Yeah, I
web
read
novel slash like.
I read the manga because the manga's
Oh, okay, okay. So
because
this
yeah
is just mini arcs, right? Or not mini arcs. This is it's like actually just regular arcs, right?
yeah pretty much.
Um. Okay,
And
okay, okay.
so whatever.
So what
So
happens after he goes through like he? This is not an academy setting, right? This is like he
no,
takes the test and then he actually goes adventuring. So in more like general terms, after he finishes the exam, does he just is it just adventures and like defeating demon lord and stuff like that, or what?
well, I mean, a little spoiler. After the adventure exam, he's it's because he gets formally invited to to join his S rank mentors party, and then they go
Mm-hmm.
adventuring and whatnot. And and they do stuff. I won't spoil what they do, but it's pretty fun and whatnot. So what else? That's literally the whole premise of the series. I guess he's only not. There's not a lot to go on so far. You'd have to wait till another episode 3, which is probably going to explain his backstory and whatnot, or maybe not. The way it's
Mm-hmm.
going, it might be episode 4 or 5 before they start going into Rick's backstory and why he wants to become an adventurer and whatnot. But yeah, what else is there to
Okay.
talk about? I guess the story premise is, I guess, why I like this series. It's a very similar premise to uh, an old manga called History's Strongest Disciple Kenichi. If
Oh,
you know of that, you guys know what that is? No,
yes.
yes, no, Aspire.
I know of it. I have not actually read it yet.
I like that back in the. It's this thing where this dude he gets saved by a chick, and then he's like, I want to become strong. Teach me how to become
Hmm.
strong. And then he gets trained by the members of Ryozanpaku, who are these elite martial artists around the world. And then they,
Hmm.
because Kenichi's starting late, he's a late bloomer, so they have to how do I give him like hellish training in order to you know rapidly build up his fighting prowess, and that's basically
Right,
how
right, right.
the members of Orichalcum Fist trained Rick, because he only trained for 2 years, so they gave him some outlandish training, like, oh, I gotta fight you can't leave this den until you fight this dragon, or you gotta until you kill this dragon, or you gotta stay underwater in this toxic swamp
Hmm.
until you can withstand it or whatever. That kind of training. So basically the
Hmm.
same if same the way they train Kenichi. Like there was that weird hamster machine where that one dude kept kept shocking him with electric prods to stimulate his muscles and whatnot. Super outlandish training that normal
Right,
people
right, right.
couldn't handle. That's how they trained Rick.
Mm.
That's how he became so strong and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean that's like the one of the standard kind of lines to kind of set up this sort of isekai story or this more like power fantasy story. Um, uh, where is this? This is 12 episodes, right?
Yeah.
Um,
So
this is a more. This isn't really. a soul life thing, right? Because they're gonna have constantly. I haven't read the story yet, but it's like because they're gonna have constant like opponents just popping up and him like going out there to like beat up somebody in a nation or like some dragon in somewhere or like that's gotta be a constant thing,
Yeah,
right?
this is
So
slow life. It's. I want to
it is.
say no, it's not slow life. It's I want to say half comedic, half battle manga, that kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing. It's very old school kind of feel in an
Oh, okay,
isekai
okay,
setting.
okay, okay. So how's that? So in terms of like a 12 episode season, right? Is that just gonna be like they're gonna go through this training arc, they're gonna go through one boss, and then they're gonna go do a final boss or a second boss for the climax, and then that's
I
probably
will
gonna just
say
end it
that
there.
12 episodes isn't enough, but they're looking for. But when's after this after he gets his promotional exam F rank and he joins the S rank party, they're going to look for some things. So the major arcs is they're going to be looking for some things, and there's many
Okay, okay,
arcs.
okay.
There's a bunch of these things. So I want to say, and the manga is pretty extensive. So by episode 12, they're only gonna find like a couple of these, like maybe one, at most two of these things. But I think at least
Mhm.
one. So they're probably going to hype up several seasons of this if they can. I hope they do because
Okay,
I like
okay.
this. Because like I said, this gives me History's Strongest Disciple Kenichi vibes, and I really like that manga. So
Mhm.
lots of shonen fighting. That's what this is. And
Okay.
the gag humor the humor comes with like people reacting to him. I want to say uh there's one girl, this one knight he meets who's like this, "Oh, I'm a B rank knight and how dare you like you what is it? My little brother, he was supposed to be the star prodigy of the F rank test, but you came in and blew it all away. So now I have to teach you a lesson." And he defeats her quite soundly in an amusing manner. So she's basically her and Rick are the Tsukomi of the trio because you know she's normal compared to everyone else, and like she has the most normal reactions out of everyone else, and she appears multiple times. So she's the reoccurring character that tries to react to these outlandish situations. And Rick himself, he has no confidence because he's like, "Oh, I'm an old man. Like even though I want to become an adventurer, like all these people are younger than me. They're like B rank and A rank, and how how can I compete against them?" But why not? The humor is that he's an old man, he's this strong, but he doesn't have any confidence. But he has some confidence because he's like, all right, I was trained by my senpais who were S rank, so I gotta have some confidence that I won't lose, and
Mhm.
that's what makes him appealing. Because
Yeah.
he's not a total wuss, but you know he's honest, very very honest. So he wants to make them
Yeah.
proud, that kind of thing. Even though he's
But he
not
still
that
has like
confident in
kind of
himself.
it's kind of like again the One Punch Man, a similar situation kind of thing. Yeah, but he still has like that strength. So.
One Punch Man in maybe like the humor in how he finishes his fights, but not really in his personality because Saitama
Mhm.
knows he's the strongest. So, but Rick doesn't.
Okay.
So he's like, and Rick's not the strongest, obviously, but he's strong. He's stronger than most people. But yeah.
Okay.
What else? Overall, I like the series quite a bit. So,
Mhm.
like I said, I'm reading it. I like it. It might be a slow start for some, but hey, just like Rick, maybe give it till episode 3 or 4. I want to
Okay.
say episode 3. Three is when it's the usual 3 rule, but 3 is when it gets good because it shows Rick doing stuff and whatnot. What else?
Okay.
Yeah, overall very good. I mean, I like this a lot. I'm going to give it a high 8 out of 10.
8
Probably
out
the
of 10.
probably the better isekais of this one because it has charm. It's
Okay.
got
I
fun
actually
characters.
expected. I'm surprised that you didn't give it a higher score, to be honest, because you're like anything that passes like the okay, like oh, like I appreciate it. Kind of sometimes ends up getting a 9 from you, and then I'm just like, what is going on? But I guess the 8 is a pretty fair score, to be honest, for
Nine.
yourself.
I'm saving my nines for later in the season. Don't worry.
All right.
But yeah, fun fact. This
Mhm.
opening is the best opening this season. Sorry, Dark.
Well,
What
hey
what is
man,
the
you can
opening?
take, you can have it. The opening's
The,
amazing.
the opening is Koya ni Sake yo Boukensha Tachi by Akira Kushida.
Nice.
Do you not? Do you guys know who Akira Kushida is?
No.
What? Spire, how dare you?
Yeah, one of the big things, I mean, where I know him from is he is the power to terror fucking
Oh,
He's
I've seen this
O's
person.
combo theme.
Oh,
this
yeah, yeah,
guy's
yeah, yeah, I've seen this person. No, no, no. Yeah, okay.
this guy is one of
Yeah,
the OGs of shonen
yeah. I just don't
openings
remember
ever.
his name. It's just that but I've seen his face before. Yeah. Okay,
Uh,
okay, 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 okay.
he wrote the Toriko opening. He
Yeah,
the opening for Godannar. He's the O's
yeah.
driver in Kamen Rider
He's
O's.
saying a lot of like Kinnikuman Man stuff too. Yeah.
Ikiniko Man. He's in was it? What's the one? Was it? Uh, he sang a lot. I'll just say he sang a lot of Super Sentai openings. Space
Hmm.
Space Sheriff Gavan, uh, Hurricaneger, Abba Ranger, Magi Ranger, Bokenger, Go
Hmm.
Onger, Geki Ranger. Basically, he's the man to go to when it comes to tokusatsu stuff. Go Sager, Tokuger.
Yeah, I've seen his face before. It's just that
This guy's
I don't
primo.
remember his name. Yeah.
Also, you know the Ultra Instinct theme. That's him.
Hmm.
Not the what the one note one, but the one with lyrics. Kyukoku no
Hmm.
Battle. That's him, Akira Kushida. So
Oh,
yeah,
nice, 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 nice,
best
nice.
opening by far. Yeah. What else? I mean, what else to say? I like the series a lot. Very old school anime. The who wrote this again? The writer himself. It was like Kiraku Kushima. Kiraku Kishima. He writes a lot of Ossan material.
Oh, like I mean, that's becoming also somewhat popular. Not popular, but it's like
Because we're all
become a
getting
very standard
fucking
line.
old.
Well, that also because it's like a lot of the authors have um kind again, it's kind of projection, right? Or like or it's not projection, excuse me, inserts, right? So it's like since a lot of these authors are just like again, these like 30-year-old men who are not um going out there in nightclubs and having fun all the time, right? Those are not the same as the web novel authors that we know. So a lot of them kind of just write like, oh, these like Osan kind of 30s characters are suddenly going into isekais and having a great time, and it's that sort of thing. So
I mean, the other one that the other one I should mention is the 40-year-old series. What is it called? Uh, the strongest heroes now in their 40s once again become warriors on the battlefield. So, wow, there's
no,
even
yeah,
older Osans. Also, what was it? That wife one? Uh, Become a wife or die. Women of defeated countries. That's also, I believe, that's also about 30-year-old women. Whatever. So, hey, man.
What are you talking about, dude?
I, so, like, what is it? What's the famous quote? The age of 30 is in demand. Hell yeah.
yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Anyways, any last words?
Good series. Check it out. And
All right.
if the manga, if the anime is too slow or doesn't cover enough, read the manga because, like I said, the manga they use the same illustration, the same art style as the manga. So check out the manga.
Okay.
Also check out Kenichi.
Uh,
That's an old relic. It's pretty good. I recommend that too.
yeah. Check out Ganesh.
Should give it a score.
Yeah,
Yeah,
8 out
eight.
of
Yeah,
10.
8 out of 10.
solid 8.
Okay.
7 being my average, so this is one step above.
Wow.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Toast. Again, that
I
was uh yeah,
I just want to
uh
say,
yeah.
Ossan adventures are high in demand later on.
All right.
What
Well,
is it?
again,
My daughter S rank, pretty good.
yeah.
What else?
Okay.
But yeah,
Anyways, Shinmai Ossan Boukensha, Saikyou party ni shiru hodo kitaerarete muteki ni naru. The Ossan Newbie adventurer trained to death by the most powerful party becomes invincible, or became invincible rather. This is by Yumeta Company, also known as I think TYO Animations before. They did a bunch of like smaller stuff back in the days. And now they've animated this Isekai, originally not okay. Again, has light novel manga adaptation. So check it out if you are interested. Next on the line, I guess I'm up here. And we have one of the things that had a little bit of buzz on social media, and now it's become an anime. It is Giji Harem, Giji Harem, or also known as Pseudo Harem. Um, so this got a buzz on social media before because when Japan often has advertisements, like very small advertisements at times for very small, very quick advertisements at times for like light novel publishings or yeah, or sometimes like manga publishings, right? Publications, right? Like a new chapter of this light novel or this manga is out. And sometimes or oftentimes they are voiced by voice actresses so the advertisement will show a small scene from the manga or the light novel, and then the voice actresses or the voice actors will voice the characters in those dialogues. And Hayami Saori happened to be the one that voiced uh the female heroine for Giji Harem. And as it turns out, to
She's
absolutely
popular?
nobody's surprise. Yeah, first of
Wait a
all, she's
minute.
popular, and she voices and like quiet, kind of um like demure, I guess, demure black long-haired anime girls, right? She is very good at voicing those for some inexplicable reason.
oh wait, you mentioned
So
Onishisari?
no, Hayami Saori,
Oh,
Hayami
whoops,
Saori.
wrong one.
Um, yeah. So Hayami Saori, uh, who might be somewhat evident from her voice, is extremely good at voicing these sorts of young black hair, like again demure kind of female heroines. So it got a bunch of buzz because it involved her, acting out a bunch of different roles as well. And now, some years pass, and this has become a full anime. So a little bit of a social media kind of thing, but I don't think it was ever really beyond a super. It wasn't like ever super popular or anything like that. A lot of it was from like the social media buzz. But anyways, just covering it real quick. It is done by who is it done by? Oh yeah, Nomad. So Nomad Production is, I guess, in most recent times, it is most known for the Dropkick on My Devil, um, s- I guess series, right? The couple of seasons that it had, as well as a couple of others. I forget what the yeah. So it did Gungrave recently, I think. It did. I think one of the like spin-offs, like Bungo Stray Dogs 1 or something like that. They did
Oh,
Chokoto
the short.
Sister. Yeah, yeah. They did Kitaku Bu, or it's like Chronicles of the Going Home Club. Yeah, but again, most recently I think they were known for oh, I forgot they did do Camp Fur. God damn it. All right. Um, but yeah, most recently they're mainly known for Dropkick on My Devil, and the staff is mainly composed of the direct one I think the director behind that. No, one of the people that helped one of the people veterans within Nomads. So his name is Kikuchi Toshiro. He is now directing um Giji Harem, and he's been a veteran, longtime veteran within Nomad. He's done a lot of like storyboarding and animation stuff. And he has a lot of experience working with Nomad as well as some other studios outside of it. Um, I think the only other directorial role he's done is Bungo Stray Dogs One, under Nomad as well. And he's pulling together the people he knew from Dropkick on My Devil within Nomad, as well as some veterans outside of it to form this staff for Giji Harem. So that's that. The general, uh, the general voice acting cast is pretty decent. I mean, obviously, it has Jaime Saori. It has Okamoto Nobuhiko as the MC, Suave Junichi, some others. I think some of the other supporting characters are a little bit more on the newer side, like uh, voice actors and actresses who have gotten some roles here and there, some supporting roles here and there in the past. I want to say 4 to 5 years, but mostly still a little bit green behind the ears, right? But obviously, the star of the show is Jaime Saori because she is the female heroine doing all the different voices. So really, it doesn't. Other than her, the rest of the cast doesn't really matter. Nobody's really there to hear their voices. So there's a cap to this.
Fucked up, dude.
Yeah. Sometimes it happens. That's why the person on the credit card is Kanohanazawa and not fucking anybody else, right? Uh,
Yeah.
so yeah, she deserves it. Um, I think audio visuals wise, Nomad, I think does a better job overall, decently replicating the type of art style that Giji Harem original manga has. Um, within the anime, and it doesn't sort of skimp. I think, um obviously, it doesn't need as many, like, sudden frames and, like, flying around as maybe something like, again, Dropping on My Devil had, because it's mostly just talking, right? And it's like a bunch of still frames for the most part, with a little bit of, like, maybe flailing around here and there every once every 5 minutes, but there's not a lot of, like, animating, like, smooth, like, battle scenes or anything like that that's necessary. So for the most part, I think the animation quality is up to snuff. The character designs and stuff like that are quite, again, similar to the manga itself, the original source material itself, and of decent quality. BGM is kind of whatever, and I think the OPED is somewhat interesting. The opening is Blouse by Gohobi. Gohobi is like a four-man band. Uh, I think it's a four-man J-pop band. The vocals are quite decent, but I think and the sort of like kind of live, kind of lighter voice that is kind of standard of the J-pop genre, and done by I think Suzy on the vocals for Gohobi. It works out pretty well, but I think and it's quite reminiscent of J-pop back in the, I guess, 2010s ish, or J-pop and song OPs back in the 2010s ish. But I think the visuals for the opening is kind of whatever. It was very standard, kind of like anime. Oh, here's like the girl kind of flying through various scenes, and I personally liked the ending's visual better, where it had like various scenes from like the actual manga, and it was kind of like it looked like a storyboard, like going through like various uh like comics and stuff like that. And I like that sort of visual, but the ending song in itself, which I believe is an original song for this series, sung by Jaime Saudi. Yeah, it's ad lib by Jaime Saudi. Was Jaime Sauri's singing wasn't like necessarily bad or anything, but the actual song itself, the composition, as well as just like adding random rap part, adding this like very weird mumbly rap part in the middle, I didn't appreciate it as much as I think perhaps the songwriter and the composer would have wanted. And so
What, you
I don't
don't
know.
like rap music, Spire?
You don't like a mumble rap?
Yeah, it was very mumbly and not as coherent, I think, as I would have liked. So I was not a big fan of it. So the ED, I prefer the visuals more. The opening, I prefer the actual like composition of the song a little bit more. So I don't know. I feel like one of them should have hit a golden balance, but neither of them did. So it was like, whatever. But yeah, that was my opinion on the audio visuals. I think the visuals stand up pretty decently. The audio, OPED stuff leaves a little bit to be desired. So, and obviously, again, voices, you kind of just really only listen for Hayami Saori. So, but yeah, real quick summary of the story itself. Studio Harem. So, Kitame Eiji, who is the male main character, is a second year high school student, and he is part of um the drama club. So he he is part of the drama club, but he's also kind of just like he, they kind of just depict, or the author kind of just generally depicts him as this guy who's just like, man, I wish I could be popular with the girls, the usual like main character. Oh man, when am I gonna hit my springtime of youth or all that crap, right? He meets uh Nanakura Rin, so he meets or like at the beginning the setting is that he has a junior in the drama club, Nanakura Rin, who is the female heroine, who is talking with him a lot and kind of using her uh very high spec acting skills to kind of be like, okay, if you really want a a harem, or if you want to really try going out with different girls or whatever, because springtime of youth or whatnot, then how about I try practicing, uh, acting out these different girls and see how you respond to these situations and so on. So uh, obviously the girl is also like while she's doing the all the acting and the pretending, is also actually in love with him, does actually like him. And the rest of the story kind of flows in between a bunch of gags and like episodic mini arcs and all these there's nothing like super overarching. It's just mini arc upon mini arc upon mini arc upon episodic stuff content that is all just like lovey-dovey, the girl kind of pretending to be, Nana Kurarin, Hayami Saori acting out different girls and being like, "How's this?" And then the MC being like, "Oh, I don't know about that, blah blah," and then them going back into being more lovey-dovey, doing different things in the school, school fair or events or stuff like that, and just going through the motions of a very standard vanilla rom-com. Um, I don't think that the interpersonal relationships and like how they bounce off each other or how they come up with ideas and so on are written particularly well. A lot of it's very on the nose, like, oh, it's like, I think I like the MC. And it's like, oh, I'm blushing. I can't let the MC see me like this. And the MC going like, huh, it's really nice that you're doing this for me. I wonder what, a very green eggs and ham level of very elementary school level of story writing, right? But again, the point of I think the source material as well as the anime really is quite clearly not focused on interpersonal relationships or how the story develops or even really any of the quality of the mini arcs, like how the setting of any of the mini arcs, like Are they at a school fair? Are they going shopping? Who the fuck cares? Nobody cares in this series. The author doesn't care. The readers don't care. Nobody cares. And the only thing that is of value that anybody really reads through is the girl doing the various roles to flirt with the main guy. And this is done pretty decently in the original source material. And of course, Jaime Saudi being the prolific voice actress that she is, and also gifted with a very, very good voice that is attractive, as a baseline, right? Even if you know it's Jaime Saudi and like she's not really doing a lot of different characters, she has a good voice, right? So because of this, she fits it very well, and she's doing her uh different voices, and you're kind of just sucking the value out of that, or not. That's pretty much how the series is valued it. There's not much beyond that, really. I think trying to evaluate it evaluate Giji Harem positively as an anime series in terms of anything else, like in its story or in its trying to evaluate how the rom-com kind of unfolds, is just a really s- failing mission, right? It's just a road to nowhere, and more or less you're just watching it to see Jaime Saori act out the different girl roles, and you're reading the manga source material to see how the girl is acting flirty and lovey-dovey with a main character while acting out these roles. That's pretty much it. So the only I'm just, I guess, glad. I don't know whether I'd say glad necessarily because I don't really have an investment in this series, but it is a fortunate thing that the animation for this series is acted out pretty decently as well. Else, I'd have to. I think there would be very little other worth in terms of watching this series. So uh, I think that's all I have to say. What would I rate it? It's a little bit difficult because in its own box, like in its own metrics, right? Quite clearly, how the series wants to be graded is just about how cute the girl is while she's doing these different voices, right? That's pretty much the only metric this series wants to be graded in. But can I really grade a series based upon only the series metric that it's trying to aim for, like that specific pigeonhole? Is my question. So, because it's like if the fundamentals as an anime series, its storytelling, whatever, is all kind of meh, but like the entire point of the series is just, yeah, see cute girl do the cute voices. Does that deserve an above average score or below average score? Like in your guys' opinion. I'm actually like curious to hear you guys maybe. Like near. What do you think? Like if by its own metric, right? The series is doing this thing. Like the point is to watch this thing happen, right?
Uh-huh.
I don't know, like the guy slashed the sword or like the girl mac with the guy or whatever it is. And it does that very well. Um but the actual just like components of it are just kind of like whatever. Then should it receive a good score or a bad score in your opinion?
Um, I mean, it's like junk food, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's like, um, when you're in the mood for McDonald's is like 10 out of 10. But when you're not, it's like dog shit, right? So,
Fuck it, yeah.
You y-
But
you know
what does that mean you would
you can
rate
get a pretty
McDonald's? That's the
cheap
thing.
um,
you can get a pretty cheap breakfast at McDonald's. They usually do the what is it? Hash browns 2 for 1 deals, like 2 for 1. One is $1. Same with sausages with muffin. You can get a decent breakfast for under 5.
it's true, but I don't know what that has to do with the series.
I don't know.
Um, I mean, I think it depends on who you're recommending it to, right? Because if you're obviously if you're doing like an objective scoring, um, then it would go down, right? Because the core,
Mhm.
if like the actual fundamental foundations of the show are shaky at best, then obviously the score goes down. But if you're treating it as like, yeah, if you want this one thing and you're like this show delivers on it well, which sounds like it does, then I guess it would go up.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's tricky, I guess. I would factor
Yeah.
it in personally, but depends on your scoring values, I guess.
Yeah. I will probably give this
10 out of 10.
uh,
8. All
yeah,
right, that's
a
pretty fair.
big sigh out of 10. I would give this series a I'm just gonna give it a straight 5 out of 10. I would give it a straight 5. I'm gonna give it a 4.5. I have to give it a below average score
Damn,
because
it's
I
going
think
down.
there's yeah. I gotta get flamed in the comments, but the reason why is I fundamentally believe that if I don't know, I just think that the fundamentals of the series in terms of its like storytelling and where it can go um is needs to be at a level where if at some time I'm just like, all right, maybe this shtick is a little bit too much. I need to be able to look on like what's happening within the anime itself, like the character interactions, the character evolutions, stuff like that, and be like, okay, this is pretty refreshing. This is like this part is pretty decent too. And then I can later go back to like more gags or more of the girl doing the cutesy stuff or whatever. But I do think at some point that needs to be there for me. The fundamentals need to be there. There needs to be a storytelling that's not just, oh, I think I like you. Oh, wait, no, I'm embarrassed. Oh, I'm blushing. Like it needs to be a little bit better than that, right? So it I cannot give this an average or an above average score in my brain, but I will emphasize that the parts of the series that it really wants to do well, like the cute girl doing the cute like impressions or whatever, it executes upon that. I don't think there's any question. It's just that's just not good enough. It's just not good enough, I think, for me. So, I
So who
will have to give
is the Giji Harem?
yeah.
Is it just the main? Is it just the main girl?
It's just the one, yeah. So the name translated is pseudo harem. So it's not a real harem because there are not actual multiple girls in real life. It's just mainly the one girl, doing the different like roles and impressions. So she'll do like a tsundere. She'll like quickly tie her hair up into like ponytails or not ponytail, twin tail, and do like the tsundere like role or for a second, and then like act out a small scene or she'll do like a calm, like kudere, like girl, or whatever, stuff like that. Or she'll do like a kwakma, like little like devilish, like imp girl, whatever, blah 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 blah. So like she'll do like different roles, but it's all the same girl in real life. So,
Oh, it's
but yeah,
it's two for the price of one or whatever.
or
Or-
three or more, really. So, but
But
yeah,
is she best girl of the season, Spire?
is she best girl? I don't know about best girl of the season, but she is certainly a girl taking on many roles. So,
You know
and again,
who's
Jaime
also a
Star does a good
girl
job.
that took on plenty of roles? Kitagawa Marin. Can she beat Marin?
uh,
Can she
I
beat the Bisque doll? I don't think she can.
I don't think so. Yeah, Pistol is pretty good. So, but yeah, um, I'd have to give this a 4.5. It's a little bit hard for me to give it 5 or above for me in the series, but
Yeah,
I do
then
think that again,
name a
if you
series
do
better and worse than this.
name a series better and worse,
Yeah, one
I
series that's
just
better,
gave you
one
one.
series that's worse.
I gave you
y-
the better one
I guess
already. We can now give a
Pistol is
worse.
better. Worse would be like I don't know any other series that I've shit on recently. Soul Leveling, I guess, but it's like that's
In the
also
same
put at
genre,
four
like in the same genre
in
at
the
least.
same genre.
Yeah.
Fuck. I can't remember.
At
I
least
can't
from last
remember.
season then.
Sorry. Oh fuck. I keep forgetting what I covered last season too. Sorry.
Same.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, there's probably some stuff, but yeah. So
So
yeah,
it's not the best romance series this season, or at
I
least it put
probably
up a good effort.
I think it's an okay watch if you know what you're getting into. But in terms of just blind going into it, I would not recommend it because it's just like it just kind of falls flat. Um, but yeah, but
So not
yeah,
not
uh,
better than Jisan Basan, huh? Or
Jisun Basan.
Jisan Basan was pretty good.
I think
I'm lo-
they're all similar levels. I don't know whether which one I would rate more highly, but I think they're pretty much on the similar level. It's like they have that one shtick, they have that one speed, and they're not really going anywhere like way above and beyond that. So,
Did you do one room
but yeah.
apartment? I think you
I
did, right?
think I might have done one room apartment. Um, that one is definitely worse because like the shtick is just not good there.
Did
The
you
shtick,
do did you do Seiyu Radio? I think you did, right?
um, no, I actually did not cover Seiyu Radio. I did watch a little bit of it. I did not watch all of it, but I think that's a little bit different though. But I prefer that a little bit more than Giji Harem. But
All
anyways,
right.
yeah, I do have to move on, but. That was pretty much my review of Giji Harem. I would say again 4.5. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it again unless you really know what you're getting into and you know that this is sort of like a more guilty pleasure series that you're okay with watching just boom, just ripping through it. And if you're fine with that, then watch it. But if you're just blind going into this and you're like, I want to watch a decent rom-com, I would probably not recommend this series. So, but yeah, that is Giji Harem. I believe it's a manga original. This is the author's first work, I believe, and currently, I think only work, I believe. So that's that Saikyou, I believe, and being produced currently by Nomad Studios, who's done previously Dropkick on My Devil and some other stuff like Bungo Stray Dogs One and so on. I think Camphor or whatever as well. So yeah, if you do like this sort of stuff, please do check it out. I guess next. Near. What do you got for
Wow.
us?
I watched um
The hope of the Western anime community.
yeah, the savior of anime right now. Um
Yeah.
I watched Isekai Suicide Squad, also known as
Yes.
Suicide Squad Isekai. I don't know why
Yes. Yes.
it's translated
That's the
differently.
localized
Like
version, bro. That's
I
the
don't know.
localized version.
I don't know why, but
I like how they didn't translate that isekai to just like other world or whatever
yeah,
it is,
like
another
Suicide
world.
Squad in
They're just
another
like
world.
they just
They're just
swap
like,
the
yeah, it's
number. Yeah.
Isekai.
Yeah.
The Western fans will totally know what that is, right?
Yeah. 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 Especially the ones watching this
Yeah, especially
in
fucking
particular.
comic book fans. They definitely know what Isekai is. But
Yeah.
yeah, so Suicide Squad Isekai is an Isekai series with the Suicide Squad. Um it's a very odd series, very strange series, both tonally and just premise wise. It's like what the fuck are you talking about, right? Um but yeah, this is a Wit Studio production.
Yes.
Obviously, there's a lot of money behind this. You know, Warner Brothers property, DC property. Obviously there's a lot of publishers and shit going into this. This is a 10 episode series. Um, this is also having, I think the episodes are like streamed like almost a month in advance on HBO Max or whatever.
Mhm.
So there's currently 5 episodes out, which means it's pretty much half finished already. Which is why I decided to cover it. But yeah, the basic premise is um, Amanda Waller, which is a pretty infamous character in the DC universe, for whatever reason, decides to open a big green portal to another world. I'm not really sure why Amanda Waller of all people would be in charge of that, but she is. And they open
Casually.
this. Yeah, they open this big green portal to another world, which is implied to have been opened by somebody who's being held captive. And in order to, I guess, I don't know, do imperialism on the other world, they send in this. They send in the
Yeah.
Suicide Squad
Yes.
instead of like the army or something. So yeah, they get Harley Quinn, who is apparently just the main protagonist of every Suicide Squad series ever from now on.
Yeah, I mean,
Peacemaker.
it's a very obvious like mascot. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Peacemaker, King Shark, Clayface, which is a strange choice, and Deadshot. Most of these are pretty standard picks for a Suicide Squad series, except for Clayface, which is a really strange choice.
They needed a handsome dude in a hat.
Did they?
Yes.
Okay. You say
'Cause
so.
who else are you gonna put? Captain Boomerang? I mean, that'd be
Um,
funny, but Captain Boomerang wouldn't do anything. So you need a master of disguise. Disguise himself as like an orc or something.
Yeah,
for
except
in
he
Isekai.
doesn't do that. He doesn't disguise himself at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what
But
does he do then?
he turns into a big clay monster and he punches people.
That's
Yeah.
lame.
Yeah. So yeah, they implant bombs in their necks, which I mentioned it to Dark before the podcast, but I'm pretty sure a bomb in Clayface's neck is not going to do anything. I don't think he cares. I don't think he's going to give a shit. But
Yeah,
apparently
like
he
for the
does in
record,
this.
like Clayface has, like he can like split up.
Yeah, he's
he
like
doesn't even.
immortal, basically.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a what is it? A molecular destabilizing bomb for him. I don't know.
True. Yeah, maybe Batman specifically made that bomb so they could torture and kill Clayface. But yeah, so they send them into this other world, and shit goes south. Their helicopter crashes. They get captured by the kingdom, and then they kind of have to just sort of hijinks their way through this Isekai world, beating up goblins. There's a sort of rival Suicide Squad that has sort of defected to the Empire, and they have to like fight against them. It's a very goofy story.
Is this
But yeah.
arcs? Is this like
Who's
full
in
arcs
the
and
other
stuff?
Suicide
What's
Squad?
happening?
So I think it's like a general overarching story. Again, it's only 10 episodes long, so
It's 10 episodes,
yeah, it's only 10 episodes long.
but it's like an
so-
actual full like developing story.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
To be fair, it's quite brisk on the pacing. Basically, just like
Okay.
yeah, they're in the Isekai, they're fighting orcs, and now they have to work with this sort of empire to defeat the other empire, because the other empire has the other Suicide Squad, and that's the only way that they can sort of get back into
Yeah.
contact with Amanda Waller. It's very brisk.
Yeah.
But yeah. As for like the enemy Suicide Squad, so far they've shown Ratcatcher, who's dead, and Katana, also known, I think she's also known as Samurai. Um, Also in the OP is the Thinker, and I think they've kind of sort of implied that the Joker is probably on the other Suicide Squad as well.
Okay.
So yeah. As for visuals, audio visuals, again, this is a WIT Studio production, so the animation quality is pretty good. The fight scenes are
Even the
quite
battle scenes?
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Okay.
fight scenes are quite nice. Some of them are a little bit choppy here and there,
Mhm.
but overall the cuts are pretty clean. The choreography is pretty nice. There's a lot of the stuff that Harley Quinn's doing has some pretty nice choreography. You know, a lot of stuff of Deadshot and Peacemaker just shooting orcs in the face, which is is a fun thing to watch.
Why
right?
does King Shark have suspenders, by the way?
Because he's like a big baby in the series. Like he is
Oh,
literally like the mind of a baby.
so they're pulling the Grapes of Wrath kind of thing?
Sure, yeah. But yeah, he doesn't speak too much. Actually, I don't think. I think
Is he supposed to
he's
just say King Shark is a shark?
I think he does speak, right? But he's not like.
he said like fucking 4 words so far in
Oh.
like
Yeah.
5 episodes. He doesn't speak too much.
Yeah.
Now
But
near.
yeah,
Now near. Let me bring up the most important question I have.
yeah.
Why did they make Amanda Waller hot in quotes?
I don't know. So I don't know what you mean by that.
I've seen comments like, "What damn? Why did they make Amanda Waller so hot in the opening or ending?" And I'm like,
So they didn't really do that. Amanda Waller dances in the ED. I don't think you're really supposed to see that and go, damn, that's hot. I think that's more of an indictment on your taste.
Whoever said that?
If you
Yeah.
think that.
Whoever said that?
But yeah. Speaking of OP and ED, the OP visually is very very good in my opinion. It's got some really nice cuts in it. Song wise, it's trash. It's very bad. It's just kind of like an instrumental, like
Are these like
generic.
Japanese OPEDs or like what is it? Is there like Western band singing it or what's
He
going
doesn't
on?
know.
Yeah, he lacks critical information. So
He forgot.
the OP song is Another World by Tomoyasu Hote, which is again, it's just like an instrumental like jazz piece.
yeah,
It's kind
there's
of
not
boring.
really
Okay.
any lyrics at all.
Yeah, it kind of just sounds like a PV track, right? But it's the OP.
You think they're trying to go with the it's Tank, right? From Cowboy
No,
Bebop, that kind of thing.
No,
You think
I
they're
don't
trying
think,
to?
I don't think they are. I think they just went with a generic track because it's on HBO Max, so everybody's gonna skip it. I think that's what
all right.
they were doing.
Now talk about the best
Which no
song
one
in
will
this
skip
season.
on
Best
HBO.
song of the year.
Nobody will skip the ED. Is Go Getters by Mori Calliope.
Best song, right here.
I think this song is dog shit. I think it's really bad. The ED visually is
You only
kind of
think
fun.
that because you didn't realize that's a joke.
Yeah, it's just a joke song, bro. The ED visually is fairly fun. Again, it's got Amanda Waller doing some dance moves. It's I will say.
Wait a minute, near.
Yeah.
Is King Shark in this because of Gargura, or is it the other way around?
Of course.
I don't think so.
That was the inspiration for King Shark.
I think
Yeah, near,
King
didn't you
Shark is in this because King Shark is in the Suicide Squad movie.
Yeah, near. I don't believe it. Haven't you seen the Hololive English version of this where Mori Calliope puts in all of her Gen members into the Suicide Squad Isekai song? Pretty
Yeah,
cool.
I did see that. It was not great. But yeah. I will say besides like the Amanda Waller dancing stuff, it's kind of just like generic.
We got Amanda Waller busting it down sexual style to a Mori Calliope song before GTA 6.
Dude, like.
Yeah. True. We did.
Oh, here.
We did get that.
Here. Check this quote. Check this quote from the actual PV from DC.
Don't like that. I don't like that at all. But yeah. I will say it seems like they kind of were trying to emulate I don't know if you guys have watched the Peacemaker series. But the opening for the Peacemaker series is like an entire like choreographed dance number. And it's really good and really awesome. I feel like they were kind of trying to capture that a little bit, but it comes a bit short. It's not like a full thing.
It's just trying to be the viral hit, right? In order to be viral on TikTok and whatever shorts, you have to have a dance.
I guess. Yeah, sort of, but it's not really like a full dance. It's kind of just like Amanda Waller does a couple dance moves, and then it does
It has
some.
to be long enough to fit into a TikTok near.
Has to be
Yeah,
long enough to
I
turn
don't think
into a
it's.
Fortnite emote.
I don't think it's long enough for that, to be honest. But yeah. But anyways, the OP and ED are okay. As for the general soundtrack, it's pretty good. I'd say it's got like a jazzy, fun, upbeat vibe. A lot of it's kind of nice. Pretty standard stuff though, overall. The voice cast, I'll go over. The voice cast is kind of insanely stacked for this. Harley Quinn is done by Anna Nagase, who I think is a relative newcomer. She's I guess a bit of an up and comer. She hasn't really done a whole lot. She's got like
Mhm.
a couple supporting roles in like Jujutsu Kaisen. I think one of her biggest recent roles was she was like the female lead in Buchigiri, which I also covered, which was bad. But you know, she
So
does a
near,
pretty good
She
job.
also she also did one of the characters in I think what is it? Freaking wait, Anna?
Yeah,
Nagase
Anna
Anna, right?
Nagase.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She did some roles recently. I think she did like Kick on Yubi on Monogatari stuff. I think she probably
yeah,
did the younger voice for that. And then she also did the Unwanted Undead Adventure, like one of the roles there, main roles there. I think Toast covered that one. Yeah.
yeah.
Boukensha? Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So
But yeah.
So hold on, near. Why are you watching it in Japanese? Why aren't you watching it in English?
So I'll go over the English dub as well. But I do want to go over the JP cast. Peacemaker is Takita Koyasu, which is kind of
Mhm.
an absolutely fucking killer casting choice in my opinion.
That's
If
Dio, by the way.
yeah, if any of you have heard his Deadpool dub, he's basically
Oh yeah,
doing that.
that
Yeah,
one's pretty good.
he's basically
Oh,
doing that
really?
for Peacemaker.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
dubbed
That
Deadpool in the anime
Um.
or a different anime.
that's
Yeah.
really good. No, I
Um.
know the Deadpool thing, but I didn't know he voiced Peacemaker like he did Deadpool,
Yeah,
which is very
he's doing like a very he does like a very
bombastic,
almost like
flamboyant.
holier than thou, yeah, like very pompous, like I'm doing this for peace and liberty kind of stuff.
Does
He's
he
very good.
try to do like a more macho kind of voice, almost like trying to evoke kind of John Cena vibes, or no?
No, it's overall pretty
Ah,
comedic.
okay, it's a different one,
He
yeah.
is, yeah, he's very much leaning into like this sort of Deadpool-esque character.
Hmm.
And it works pretty well overall. King Shark
Yeah,
is done by Subaru Kimura. Um,
yeah,
Again, he has like 5 words spoken, so no
yeah.
real comment. Clayface is done by Ukiyama Jun. Um, Again, he's doing a
These are a
very,
lot of the heavy hitters here.
yeah, he's
Okay.
doing a
Well,
very sort of
it's money, dude.
flamboyant, over the top voice.
Yeah, it's a good casting. Yeah.
Yeah, very good overall. And then Deadshot is done by Yamaguchi Reigo, who is very much a newcomer. Does
Hmm.
a pretty good voice. And then for some of the more supporting ones, Joker is done by Yurichiro Umehara. I fucking hate the voice he's doing for Joker in this series.
Yeah,
What is he doing?
yeah.
He's doing this very like low, almost like brooding voice for the
Oh,
Joker.
that's yeah, I think that's Umera Yuichiro's main like speed. Like I
Yeah,
think that's almost
yeah,
like that's almost a I think sound director slash directing problem because
probably.
he can probably do other voices, but like that's his most popular voice. I think
Yeah, for those who don't
that's
know,
his Goblin Slayer voice. Yeah.
Yeah,
he's the voice for
yeah.
Goblin Slayer.
Yeah.
He also voiced Weather Report in JoJo.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, he's kind of just doing this sort of like,
And he's going low like
I'm
that for the Joker?
yeah, he's doing
Yeah,
this
he's
like,
doing Goblin Slayer voice for the
this
Joker.
this world is sick, and I'm the cure kind of shit, and it's like,
What?
yeah,
Ugh.
it's a
Yeah,
very
I think
strange Joker.
that's gotta be a directorial kind of thing, right? Because
Yeah,
it's
more
like,
than likely.
yeah.
And
Now is Joker a goblin? Would he be considered a goblin in the Isekai?
no,
No.
I
Oh,
think he'd be a jester, actually. But yeah, overall the voice cast for the Japanese side is very, very good. As for the English voice cast, I listened to like a little bit of it. It's okay overall.
Mhm.
You have Tara Strong as Harley Quinn. Shocker.
Of course, it has to be.
Yeah.
She's been the voice of Harley Quinn for like fucking 15 plus years now. You have Sean Patrick Judge as Peacemaker. Unfortunately, not John Cena. I guess they didn't want to shell out the $10 million for him
Nice,
to
yeah.
voice that.
It's the same thing with like the Mortal Kombat stuff,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. He does an okay job, I think. King Shark, Andrew Love, again, he has like fucking 5 words spoken. Clayface is Brandon Hernsberger. Does a pretty good job, I think. Deadshot is Jovan Jackson, who's pretty good. Overall, the cast is pretty good. I think the English sub is okay. It's
Wait, hold on, Near. I'm seeing a different name for Harley Quinn.
Are you?
I'm seeing Carly Hawk. Hawk?
Oh. I don't know. She sounded like her strong to me, but maybe I'm mistaken. But yeah, maybe they went with a different voice actor. But yeah, I think the English dub was okay. It's pretty. I feel like it's
Why
fairly
isn't John
standard.
Cena Peacemaker, man? That's sad.
Again, probably
You know
because
he'd want to do it.
would. Yeah, I mean, he would probably want to do it, but his agency would probably ask like several $1 million for him to voice this role, which they probably weren't willing to shell out for an anime voice acting role. But yeah. Overall, I think this series is pretty fun. It's pretty tongue in cheek. It kind of like knows that it's a very stupid premise. It doesn't really take itself seriously like at all. There's a lot of comedy, as is typical of a lot of these Suicide Squad stories. I will say I think the only thing I really don't like about this series is the Joker. I hate the characterization of the Joker in this series. I think it's a really dumb take on the Joker where he's like this. Again, he very much seems almost like they're doing like I guess kind of like a cult leader take on him, but his cult is like just Harley. Like he doesn't even have like a gang in this series. Like it's just
It's
him
kind of
and
I feel like Joker is almost being used as just like a throwaway right now. Just be like what because it's like the Suicide Squad is there and they just need something to like fucking crack skulls. Like they need an objective to get at, right? So they're just like, oh, I guess Joker, like fuck it, man. Like because it's like
You
Yeah.
because
can't
the
have a
reason being
Suicide Squad without Joker. It's kind of a thing.
yeah,
you definitely can. You
like
You
definitely
can,
can.
but
yeah, but the
you
thing is
have to
that
throw in
it's like
Joker if you have Harley
yeah,
Quinn.
Joker is somewhere. I think what Toast is saying, like Joker has to be
I
somewhere
mean, that's
within the
also
story
not true.
because that adds like the branding, yeah. Because it's
You
like,
have to
Yeah,
have
I
a
mean,
foil to Harley
I don't-
Quinn.
I don't think that's really true anymore. I think Harley Quinn as a character, and again, this is sort of coming more into like comic books
Mhm.
discussion, but
Yeah.
I think Harley Quinn as a character at this point has sort of garnered a certain lore and a certain characterization that like the modern take on Harley Quinn is very much a woman that has been sort of like abused. Like the typical Harley Quinn story is they treat the Joker as sort of a abusive like ex-boyfriend kind of thing. And Harley
Yeah.
Quinn is now like striking it out on her own. And a lot of Suicide Squad stories are like Harley Quinn sort of coming into her own as like an independent, like almost anti-hero, right?
Mhm.
Like free from the Joker. And I
Is she
think
still a
enough of
psychiatrist
those.
in this?
Yeah, of course. I think enough of those stories have been told that the general perception of Harley Quinn is pretty independent of the Joker, right?
Mhm.
like the most recent Suicide Squad movie, by James Gunn, literally, I don't think they even mentioned Joker a single time in regards to Harley. Like she was just Harley, right? And I think quite a few of her independent comics have done the same.
Even
You know,
games, I believe, too, right? Like, not
yeah,
sure about
No,
I
he
mean,
was
stories,
in
but
he
like,
was
I
in
believe,
Suicide Squad Kid the Justice League, so yeah.
what was it,
yeah, but
Arkham Knights? Like,
yeah,
I think she was also
um,
implied to just have moved on,
yeah,
essentially.
she was basically just Harley in that. But I think in the Kill the Justice League one, that's in the Arkham verse, so she is technically like obviously she has her own past with the Joker,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
in the Arkham verse, the Joker's fucking dead. So like, but yeah, I again, this was just me harping on the characterization of the Joker in this series. You could say he's like a minor character, but again, I'm almost positive he's going to be like the big bad that Harley's going to have to fight against at the end, as sort of like her or like coming into her own sort of story in this. But yeah, outside of that, this is really really minor gripe, but the character design for Katana in this series sucks. They made her into like this really like almost like a lolly, and it's like
What?
why? Yeah, like she's really young looking, like she's really thin. And it's really strange for that
It's like
character.
they tried to make the whole, how do I say this? You know how what's that, who was that fucking, the Asian girl in Deadpool or whatever, right? Where it's like uh the girl who had like the actual superpowers or whatever, right? But it's like she only kind of came out to be like a lesbian couple with the other like exploding girl,
Yeah.
right? The white girl. Um
The girl that's always like, "Hi, Wade."
yeah, 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 yeah. It's
Yeah.
like they want to make a katana like of somewhat like that, but then she was already in like a Japanese anime setting, so then
Yeah.
they dialed it up to 10. It's like I think
Yeah,
that's like
it's
what they went.
weird. Um
Yeah.
Also like a lot of the suicide, like when they go into like the other world, like they all get like magic powers and shit. Um and the other
Okay.
Suicide Squad has like these like enchanted weapons and stuff. And for some reason Katana's enchanted weapon is not a katana. It's like this weird glaive thing. And it's like,
Okay.
what are you guys what are you guys doing? You have a character named Katana,
After a
and
weapon.
you don't give
After the
her
weapon.
a fucking enchanted katana. Like, okay, man.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Nice.
overall, I'd say it's a really fun show.
Uh-huh.
If you like the Suicide Squad, if you like, I mean, if you like the idea of like Harley Quinn beating up orcs with a baseball bat while she's like
Yeah,
glowing
I
with
had I
magical
actually just
powers,
had one
like
question. Like I'm not saying like, oh, it's a bad series, or like I'm not criticizing it, but I'm a little bit curious as to
who this is for.
like, yeah, yeah. It's like if you were, let's say you were the initial guy who thought up like Suicide Squad, or you were one of like the producer director kind of people who were like, okay, we should sell this to the production committee or whatever, right? Or to the investors. So you are there, you're at the meeting with like all the representatives for the different companies, and you're pitching this, right? And they ask you like, okay, like who's going to be watching this series? How would you answer that?
um, well, if I'm pitching this to a board of directors, I'm going to
Yeah,
use a lot of buzzwords, like
yeah. All the buzzwords.
how the youth love isekai, um,
Yeah.
and
You're
how
integrating with
many.
a popular Japanese anime which gains all this money per year or
Yeah.
whatever, right?
Yeah, of course. So obviously the way this was pitched was probably to sort of, uh, in a multi-level sense, increase the sort of brand recognition of
Yeah,
both
globally.
Suicide Squad and DC, in Japan and the East in general, right?
Yeah.
Because comic book shit, like obviously, it's relatively popular, but it's not as popular as standard.
Like anime stuff. Yeah.
Like I don't think Batman comics are selling quite as hotly as Demon Slayer manga volumes, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Sure.
There's that aspect. And then there's also the global audience being more into pulling
Capturing some of the
people
anime
who
only
may not
audience.
be
Yeah.
anime watchers into other anime, right?
Yeah.
And there's also the HBO Max selling points where it's like you get the premiere episodes, so that's selling subscriptions, etc., etc. But in terms of like who the audience is, I do think this is very much like that sort of like bridge building thing. Getting more Japanese people into the sort of comic book universe, and then getting those comic book people in the West sort of into the anime industry, right?
Do you also think that it's partly like it's not necessarily an experiment, but it also serves as a proof of concept similar to Star Wars Visions, where they're doing and they are doing an East-West collaboration, which sounds obvious and when stated, but the point is that this will be one of the proof of concepts, the launching pads for the license holders for like the DCU stuff like that to be like, okay, get we can now utilize Japanese studios to help make more of like because there's plenty of cartoon adaptations, right? Of superhero
Yeah.
material. So instead of necessarily just having the Western studios do it and then it being showing up on WB Kids all the time, right? Why don't we just have the Japanese studios do it and then it shows up on Netflix? So it's that sort of transition
Yeah, I
potentially.
think there's also, and this is a bit more conspiracy theory, I guess.
Yeah.
Industry conspiracy theory. Uh a lot of the Western studios have been getting straight up killed, right? Like
Yeah,
they're just shutting that shit down.
Just because of
Um
industrial changes, yeah.
yeah, so it could be that a lot of these bigger brands like Warner Brothers sort
Mhm.
of see, I guess, because the general sentiment for anime in the West has sort of been more that anime is a bit more mature than Western cartoons, right?
Mm.
Which is a strange sentiment because it's not really true, right?
Yeah.
A lot of Western cartoons, especially for uh, comic book stuff, very much aimed at adults, right?
Yeah.
Especially with DC stuff. DC has, I think, just in the last few years, they wrapped up basically their own like animated universe saga, which pretty much ended in like blood and gore. Like it was like a dark, uh, it was almost like an Endgame thing, but like Superman just straight up kills fucking Darkseid, right?
Mhm.
And so I think the Western sort of brands sort of see that uh, an attitude towards anime in the West as it being like more geared towards an older audience, and while also still appealing to the younger audience. And they're like, well, why bother fucking with these Western studios when we can just work with these anime studios and get this sort of uh, like two-sided branding, right? Like it kind of works on all fronts in their eyes, right? Um,
Yeah.
When was Batman Ninja? Wasn't that also a Japanese studio?
I believe so, yeah. And
Because
the
there's
Batman,
another one
yeah,
coming
the
out soon.
Batman Ninja series literally just got a sequel like announced like last week,
Yeah.
which looks really good actually. But yeah, I do think Warner Bros is probably pushing a bit more on these Eastern animation studios now, just because the Western animation front is, for all intents and purposes, like being killed off, right? by a
Mhm.
lot of these big
They
corporations.
saw Cyberpunk Edge Runners and they're like, hey, we can do that too.
Yeah, that's also probably a big aspect too, right? Like Cyberpunk Edge Runners was an absolutely fucking massive commercial success, right? Obviously we have our own opinions on that, but you know, publishers see that, probably want to emulate that. So yeah, I'm sure that was probably a huge aspect of this. But yeah, again, overall, I do think this is a good show. It does its job well.
Yeah, I think like again, I'm not really aiming to like criticize it or anything like that. I was just like,
Yeah, I mean,
obviously, you know, I
as a
think it's a
project,
good
it's definitely
series. Yeah,
worth looking at.
it's just like what, like whoa,
Yeah, because
okay,
it's
like,
a
yeah,
very strange premise. Because
yeah,
typically
It's
a lot of these sort of superhero anime ones, like with the Marvel ones, right? I
mhm,
think there's the Iron Man anime. I think there's like an X-Men anime. I think there was a Spider-Man one too, but I'm not too sure. But a lot of these are kind of just like origin story of the hero, but in anime. And this is just like, what if the Suicide Squad was in a fucking isekai, right? Like they don't really bother with the origin story.
yeah,
They
yeah,
kind of just present the characters as is. Um, like they don't even give like, they give like no backstory to
yeah.
like characters like Peacemaker or
It's
Deadshot.
it's
Like
more like they're, you know how there are like
if
two
you know, you
parts to
know.
the yeah,
yeah,
you know how there are generally two parts to the Suicide Squad kind of thing, where it's like the first part is, as you said, like kind of going through the backstory. Although like there are like roots of that, like there are veins of that all the way throughout the movie, but it's like a decent amount of it is like front loaded, right?
yeah,
Um, and then like as they kind of gather up, a decent amount is front loaded, and then afterwards is the romp, right? They're, you
yeah.
know, killing the final boss and they're all just kind of running around it, doing crazy shit. And so I think for this series, especially since it's only 10 episodes, they really tried to cut to the yeah, they're all here, so let's just kill the shit
Yeah,
part. Right?
let's kill some orcs. Let's
Yeah.
do some war. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's overall very fun. It's a pretty
Mhm.
funny show as well. The comedy is pretty good. There's a lot of sort of almost like buddy cop banter between Peacemaker and Deadshot, which is
Mhm.
reminiscent of the movie where Peacemaker was beefing with uh was it Bloodshot in the movie, not Deadshot. But yeah, it's fun. For comic fans, it's definitely an easy recommend. For somebody who doesn't really know comics, it's probably a bit of a trickier recommend. But I mean, if you're at all familiar with isekai shit, you could probably
Yeah, yeah.
vibe with this. I think.
Yeah, yeah.
If you like the characters, then obviously, you might seek out other Suicide Squad media. Maybe check out
Don't
the
If you're
maybe
movie
generally
or
comfortable with the ideas without being like, "What? Fucking cape shit in my anime,"
yeah,
or, you know,
yeah,
even vice versa, where it's like, "What anime we" although I think the reception has been mostly positive too from the Western side, right? Because it's like a lot of them have been I think a little bit cheesy, but it's a lot of them have been like, "Oh, wow. The, Japanese art of animation
yeah.
has really, it's so advanced, and it has now graced
I think it
the
helps.
fucking Suicide Squad." Yeah,
Yeah, I
and
think
it's
it
just
helps
like,
that this
okay,
show
that's a little
looks
bit
good.
yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
it overall looks good. It's not like a cheap cash grab kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
it helps for the anti-weeb cape shit enjoyers to be like,
Sentiment, yeah, yeah.
maybe this
but
is actually decent.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
near. Is it better than the game?
I haven't played the game personally. I heard the story for the game is okay. But like so for the Kill the Justice League, like for a lot of the bitching I've seen for the Kill the Justice League story, it kind of just feels like butthurt Batman fans, and they're like, "Oh, Batman dies in a Kill the Justice League game?" It's like, yeah, dude, that's the point of the game, so that you kill the Justice League, and Batman is in the Justice League, like,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, uh, I can't really comment on whether the characterizations in this are better than the game. Um, I like the characterizations of most of the characters in this. They're very fun. Um, But yeah, I think
This is all the Marvel movies' fault, near.
I mean, yeah,
The happy-go-lucky, zany, what is it, Avengers. They copied that, near. They saw that the Justice League sucked at being zany and popular, so like, all right, well, let's go with the B team, the Suicide Squad. They're more fun, right?
I mean the Justice League. Do you really think they tried to do like zany and wacky with the Justice League? I feel like Zack Snyder's Justice League was very like it was trying to be like epic and like cool
I
and
mean
badass,
that
right?
they saw that the Avengers were popular because of this, so they're like, all right, if the Justice League would try to be different and it didn't work, so let's pull in our own zany team, which is the Suicide
Yeah, I mean,
Squad.
I said this during the
Yeah.
previews, right? That the Suicide Squad was sort of a like DC's sort of attempt
Answer
to
to
capture
Guardians of the
the
Is it-
sort
Galaxy.
of Guardians of the Galaxy
Yeah,
fame,
but is
right?
it working?
For DC, I think it's working pretty well. I think
Yeah, relative to the scale that DC is
I
running
think
at
right now, I think currently the Suicide Squad brand has a better reputation than the Justice League, which is kind of
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah,
Oh
no,
yeah,
that's
that's
100%.
obvious.
Yeah.
They made
Yeah.
more Suicide Squad movies than Justice League movies.
I think
Yeah,
that's
but
more of
only
an
one of them was
indictment on
good.
how the Justice League stuff was run than it
Yeah.
is the more the Suicide Squad
Yeah,
stuff.
I think it's
I
more the
know.
fact that the second Suicide Squad movie was made by a good director, and the Justice League movies were not. So,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
also
yeah.
the Flash happened. So,
Uh, How
but
could you
Yeah.
mess up the Flash?
yeah, overall, I think I'd give this something like a 7.5 probably. It's currently sitting at a 7.04 on Mall, which I think is relatively fair. I'd probably rate it just ever so slightly higher. Yeah, overall, it's a good show. It's fun. It's fairly short at 10 episodes. It's brisk. Um, again, it's got advanced premieres streaming on HBO Max, I believe.
Mhm.
And I think Hulu as well. So if you want to check that out, do so. I think it's definitely worth checking out.
Alright. Well, all right. So again, oh yeah, what would you rate it, by the way, Nier?
7.5.
Pretty good, pretty solid. Yeah, that was Isekai Suitsu Squad. Again, thank you very much, Nier, for covering this. I know, again, you are the main go-to guy here in this podcast with regards to this stuff. So I'm glad
Keep
you
shit.
helped,
Yeah.
yeah, cover this because it was a very interesting thing, but it was just I like just had no idea how to approach this because it was just out of nowhere. The
Yeah, I
premise
mean, it's
as
very
well as really
strange. It's a
yeah.
very strange project.
Um, but I'm glad that it came out very nicely. So again, this is Suicide Squad Isekai. It is an
Why?
anime.
If evil,
Yep.
why hot? The series.
True.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is
Apparently
goth
featuring a
girls are on
hot
the rise
Amanda
again,
Waller?
right?
Question mark. Yeah.
Right?
It got what over the
Is
horizon?
is Harley Quinn designated as a goth girl near?
No. I think
I
she'd
know
be more
Raven's
of
the
a.
goth girl.
I think she'd be more of a clown girl.
Yeah.
So
Clussy, as
Clussy,
they say.
yeah,
Yeah.
Clussy is in demand again. Hell yeah.
All right. Anyways, this is Isekai Suicide Squad, done by Wit Studio. This is an anime original, obviously produced in conjunction with all of the license holders of the DC universe and Suicide Squad people. Released early on HBO Max, Netflix. I believe the first 5 episodes have been out as of our review. So again, if you do like Isekai kind of Suicide Squad, kind of both, you're comfortable with these ideas in general. I think it's probably a very interesting series to at least check out. I'm probably just kind of grind through. So again, thank you very much, Nier. And last we come to Dark,
The real anime of the season.
the real anime of the season.
Sure, man.
You know what's
Got an
really like almost
8.0.
makes me angry. Yeah. I remember the title of this series now because of all of the fucking like everybody on TikTok and whatever dancing to
I
this
mean,
fucking
it just rolls
opening.
off of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
so I'm covering
Yeah, Spire. I think you should do the
Shikanoko.
1 minute. You should do the 1 minute, 1 hour endurance run just to make sure you're
Yeah,
ready.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm
But yeah,
covering Shikanoko, Nokonoko, Koshitantan.
Koshitantan. Yes.
Yeah.
My dear friend Nokotan is
Um,
a localized title.
yeah, I guess just to give the rundown, this is being done by Wit Studio. This is
Yeah,
a
this is the
manga
other one.
source.
Yeah.
This is, let me see, this is being directed by the, like we had covered prior, the director of the first two seasons of Yuri. Just a really long time director as well.
So like the staff
And
is
like an
solid, I
episode
think, for the most
director of
part.
Wata 10. Yeah,
Mhm.
like he's done quite a lot. Is
Mhm.
Masahiko Ota. Um, yeah, I don't really know where to start with this series. Well, yeah, so this is
That you hate it?
this series starts off, well, yes, we'll get to that. This series starts off with our main character, Toraka Koshi, the blonde girl. She is essentially a reformed delinquent. She was a delinquent in her prior school, and now that she is trying to like rebrand herself, or well, rebranded herself as like an honor student, like a perfect student in her newer school. Um, Now, this pretty much starts off with her immediately meeting Nokotan, um, and Noko pretty much sees right through that because like her antlers glow or something when someone's like lying. Um, yeah, I guess to get into this, there's really not a lot of substance there.
Yeah, I mean it's a
I'll get
slapstick
into this.
comedy
Yeah,
series, right?
it's a
So
slapstick comedy series, but I hate it. I hate the series. I think the
he
series fucking
hates it.
sucks. Like, yeah, I do. Like a lot.
Kuyashi.
Um, I guess to get right into it, like just why I dislike the series, is well because and by the way, like the reason why that is because there like again, there's nothing of substance to talk about other than like the jokes, and I'm not gonna sit here and like rehash fucking the 40 minutes of jokes I saw. um,
All the deer jokes.
yeah, so I guess I should say. Oh, actually, you know what? We'll do this first. The audio visuals I think are also bad. I think these audio visuals
Oh,
are
okay.
honestly like surprisingly bad from Wit Studio.
Yeah.
The visuals themselves are not like the worst animation you will ever see. They're not the worst you will ever see.
It's budget. It's budget.
But what's not, I mean, I think it's like the problem is that not only is it like it's like semi budget, but it's also like the shading is shit. Like you can tell from it. Like
Mhm.
there's like I don't like the colors. I don't think they're particularly great. Everything looks very flat, and I don't think it's a particularly good style either. Right? Like I think it's a
I
very
think a lot
basic,
of the A
bland
team, in
style.
terms of like animation directors, stuff like that, probably went to the Sky Squad, Suicide Squad people
Yeah, I mean,
team.
also it's
Not gonna
like
lie.
the other issue too is I would say that I don't think particularly this series is lending itself to be adapted in such a
Source
way that
material,
is like
right?
yeah, like
Yeah.
it's not like obviously it's like the style is adapted, like they adapted it. It's like this is the style,
Yeah.
but it's not a
There's this
visually it's
feeling.
not visually distinct. Like it's an extremely visually indistinct series. Um, so that's working against it as well as like a slapstick comedy series for me. Um,
Yeah.
And then beyond that, the audio I think is ass because I think it's mixed like dog shit. Like I really don't know how else to put it. Like the mixing in this series is fucking terrible. Character voices are extremely fucking loud. The background is
Huh.
extremely fucking quiet. There is almost no background noise whatsoever half the fucking time. The recordings of the voices do not sound good either. Like, I don't know how no one else has picked up on this that I've seen talking about this. These like, they're too sharp, like they're way too crisp, the audio. Like it's like grating at times. And it's especially noticeable when there's like literally no music. And there are a lot of times in this show where there is no music, no background audio, nothing.
What the fuck?
Yeah, so it's just dead. Like like I don't think it's good. Like I think that's fucking horrible. Especially for a slapstick comedy series. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like your music is supposed to be like a through line for this. Like, but here's where we get to what I would argue is the worst aspect of the show, which is the comedy. The comedy is genuinely the worst aspect of it. There are some bits that are okay. There are a lot of bits that are fine, right? But then there's a lot that I'm just like kind of rolling my eyes at, like we're doing this for an extended period of time. Like at one point, like Nokotan gets jacked and looks like a fucking Fist of the North Star or a JoJo character.
Yeah.
And that goes on for like a minute, if not longer. And I'm like, why is this going on for so long? Like, and it really has no bearing on anything. It's not really like a fourth wall breaking like moment, particularly like to me, it just like really doesn't land, and that's like a lot of the humor in this. You know, it goes on for very long.
Forbes review for this anime tells me my dear friend Nokotan is wondrously silly and very funny. Much like Nichijou before it, my dear friend Nokotan is
Nichijou!
annoyingly
Anyone who
Hell yeah.
compares this to
and
Nichijou should host a fucking event in Pennsylvania. Is what they should do.
simultaneously.
They should host a
Oh my
rally in
God.
Pennsylvania. Is what they should be
Yeah.
doing.
But it's the thing is, it's very
It's insane because it's like, again, like comparing it to Nichijou, it's like, okay, Nichijou had was visually distinct, had like insanely good, like an insanely good soundtrack and audio, had jokes that doubled back on themselves. That's the other thing that I didn't experience in the first 2 episodes of this series. I did not experience a joke like truly doubling back on itself properly, or at all. Realistically, they just go on
and also
for
like it's compact. It's like
sections of
it's
the
just
show.
like, oh, this is a slapstick, boom, 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 and like Meech just kind of moves on after that. But it's like, or like it does a skit, just packs it up, and then moves on to the next skit. But I don't like.
I don't think that
Nokotan
would
kind of
necessarily
just
be a
seems like
bad
an
thing if it was very
endless
fast.
like role. Yeah, it's like Nokotan is like an endless role of like the same joke being retold like 50 different ways. And it's like
Yeah,
Truly the
and
peak
it's
of Japanese comedy.
yeah.
I mean, it'd basically be like if all of Nichijou was just that, was like, or 90% of Nichijou was just the like first single joke with what's her name, the robot.
Oh yeah. Her like losing like various body parts to the professor, or like
Like
having
if like,
parts pop
or
out.
just having like if it was just that done ad absurdum, but the main problem I have with that, because that does happen a lot in Nichijou, and I think the smart thing to do is to react to these things happening as they're happening, and don't fucking tell me that they're happening. Stop telling me
Just run the
when the
slapstick.
jokes
Just
are
run the
happening.
slapstick.
Just let it happen. Because this show really loves to fucking linger on a joke and then tell you, wow, isn't it crazy that this is happening? This is kind of like this thing. This is kind of like this other thing. I get it. I have seen that. For example, even if you want to do that again, then here's on jokes too long. One of the opening jokes is the main character passing by Nokotan hanging from a power line. Like her antlers are like holding her onto a power line. And she stops and looks at Nokotan. And then she runs through, like, a couple other things happen, but it's really whatever. She runs through a couple of things, like the opening joke, which I thought was fine. I thought could be cute. but they didn't let her roll. She opens with, oh my god, like, is this a suicide? And then that goes on for too long, and then she goes to, wait, she has antlers. Which, again, the script is way too wordy, where she's, like, describing, like, she is stuck up there because she has antlers. Oh my god. It's like, I know, actually. In fact, I saw that before you apparently did. And then she runs through, what was it? It was something about she's in my school uniform, like, so it's a girl, and then she realizes, like, wait, but only male deers have antlers, right? Like, and that is realistically when the joke should have ended, and, like, Nokotan should have interacted with her. Except
Yeah.
instead what we got was, like, another minute or two of this character going through scenarios of, like, maybe she's a cryptid, maybe she's this, maybe she's that, maybe she's a villain, like a villain leader or something, and they did like a shocker mooks shot or something in her mental, like her mental image of it. But it's like, that's like it's too long. Like, who cares? Like, your entire joke here has been that Nokotan is hanging from a fucking power line, and the only other thing you've done here has had one character fucking monologue about it for like 3 minutes. Like, like,
Can
to
we move
me, like,
on?
I don't
Yeah.
understand. Yeah, it's like, okay, move the fuck on. Like, what are you doing? Like, not
Yeah,
only
it's
that, it's
just
like, I like, personally, it's like, I don't get how that's funny anymore. Like, maybe this was funny
well,
fucking 10 to 20 years ago, of like a character standing there and like running through little references or something, but it's like, what the fuck are we doing?
what
Or it's
kind
not
of
even
upsets
references,
me
because it's not even
also.
reference humor,
Yeah.
right? Like, reference humor,
Yeah.
I enjoy as well. I enjoyed it in
Yeah.
I enjoy it in Dropkick on My Devil. I enjoyed it in
Yeah.
Yudu Yudu when it happened. I enjoy it in fucking
Nyarako. Yeah.
yeah, Nyarako.
Nyarako-san.
Like,
Stuff like that. Yeah.
Nyarako-san is a perfect example. Like, I love reference humor in that, but the problem is that this doesn't even do like reference humor. Like, it does, like I said, like, Nokotan will turn into a character that looks like a JoJo or Fist of the North Star character, and that is just kind of played out. And it's like, you could at least like do a little bit more. Like, you're basically, like, to me, this is the show equivalent. Like, these are like like bottom of the barrel, like Family Guy tier fucking humor.
I was about to actually.
Like,
Yeah. I was
remember
about to bring
the
that up.
time when you saw a show that looked like JoJo, or something that looked like Fist of the North Star? It's like, yes,
Yeah.
and I do actually.
It's like that Family
for
Guy,
example,
the
like,
Street Fighter scene
even
or whatever clip.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like fucking, even like Dropkick on My Devil did this type of joke very well, I would say, where there was an
Mhm.
episode where I forget exactly what happened. They were doing something. It was some fourth wall humor break, and it was a joke that like really like doubled back on itself, where every character was a different anime style. Like, one of them
Yeah.
was a shoujo, one of them was an H anime character, like another one was a shonen character, another one was like a JoJo character and stuff like that. But they like played off of that as well, and they played off of that using their lines, using their dialogue, and it was a lot happening at once. And it was also very fast, which is the very important part that I want to reiterate here.
Yeah.
I
It's
feel like
compact.
nothing
It's
in
I
this
will
show
say,
is fast.
I think the best anime to make use of like the whole, oh, this character looks like a character from another anime, is like Monogatari, where it does it for like 3 frames, and then it cuts away.
Yeah.
It's just like,
Yeah, like,
what?
that shit is cool. That shit is funny. Like, that is snappy. It's literally just doing what it needed to do and
Yeah.
getting out. That's it. And like I said, it's not even like it's reference humor. So, you know, it's not like they particularly reference anything specifically about, you know, JoJo or Fist of the North Star. Like,
Yeah.
so it's like, well, this is indistinct. Like, this is not even hitting that mark. And again, it's like the
Yeah.
whole like villain organization thing. It's like, yes, I have seen Shocker mooks. Like, thank you very much. I know what they look like.
Yeah, it's like the very. It's again.
As a matter of fact,
as I said
there was
before,
a
it's
whole
Green Eggs
fucking
and Ham.
show last season based on them. Um, but like, yeah. So this is what I don't understand about this show. Like, I get why people like it because they lap up bottom of the barrel fucking slop comedy and think it's like brilliant because it's packaged to them in a memey way.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah. So I was about to
I
point
fucking
that out. It
hate
was
it.
like I was trying to. So when you were talking about the Family Guy stuff earlier,
It's
there
trying
was
very hard.
a yeah, it was a word that came up here and there that was like, this is like a brain rot series. You just turn your brain off for this series. And I am the first person to
If I was going to turn my brain off, why the
support.
fuck wouldn't I look at a landscape?
Yeah.
Why
Why?
would I not go
Why?
fucking like literally meditate? Like not even to sound like a
Yeah.
like, oh man, like you know, do something better with your time or like something like that. But it's like, okay, but that's not good. Like if you're not engaging with
Well,
media, that's bad. That's a bad sign.
yeah. What I wanted to say is like, I'm the first person that will honestly support, good, simple humor, slapstick humor, sophomore humor, whatever. But the point is that it has to be well executed, well
Well, it has to be
done,
visually catching,
well,
visually charming too.
yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah. Like,
even if
it
you
has to be
even if
good.
you look at
Like,
something
even
like
sophomore humor has quality, like levels of quality. You know what I mean?
yeah, I mean,
It's
dude,
like,
you could look at something like fucking uh what's the name? Either yeah, I don't know, like the Three Stooges for fuck's sake.
yeah,
Like
exactly, Dumb and Dumber
it
kind of
is
stuff like that. Yeah,
supposed yeah, it is supposed to catch your eye. Like there is a lot yeah, I mean even in Dumb and Dumber, it's like there are usually several things happening in a scene where
yeah,
it's
yeah,
like a
yeah,
Rube Goldberg machine that is about to be like a slapstick joke that you can probably see coming.
yeah,
And this doesn't do that.
yeah.
I mean, obviously that would
It's
be very
just,
hard to do, but again, it's like it's not.
yeah.
I
I
would
mean,
say
that's what
this
separates
is
a
below
good
Pop Team
slash
Epic
great anime from,
for me,
yeah,
and I don't like Pop Team Epic,
yeah,
like because this
yeah.
is very long. It is like it's trying. It's also the other problem is too is like it's so clearly trying so hard to be like funny and like
It's
random.
trying too hard to become meme viral. Yeah, it's like,
Yeah, and
oh,
it's like
look at
it's like the
meme,
picture I'm
memes.
literally
Yeah,
using. The picture I am literally using of this of the classroom slow mo scene. The fact that that is like the
yeah,
one of the most popular scenes. It's like so far. It's like, bro, that's all you got in 40 minutes. That's the best you fucking have. That's your most clippable moment.
yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah,
and this is an 8 on mall. This is what we're doing now. Like,
yeah.
what the fuck? Again,
And even
and I
their like
think even like a
marketing
visual.
campaign too.
Oh
Yeah,
well, I mean, we can get into that in a minute, but like
yeah,
this is also something where I was like, again, like a style can very much also help here. This is not.
mhm.
I mean, obviously, like it has a style, but it's just not. It's just not visually distinct, right? Like if I see a single thing from Nishijo, if I see someone draw something as if it was from Nishijo, I know that style. Like I know that style immediately, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
With this, it's just like a very plain and unshaded. Like what's the most visually distinct thing? The shitty CGI deer? Like the realistic CGI deer that show up? That and that's also what I mean by trying too hard as well, too. Like that's a cute idea and stuff, but like again, okay. Like
Well,
you
a
have
lot of
like
that's
photorealistic deer looking at
a lot of
them.
that's from the source material, right? So
Oh yeah, no, I know, but that's what I mean. Like I'm also criticizing the source material here. Like
yeah, I mean,
make no
I'm just saying
mistake.
most of the faults here are like
Yeah, source material
carryovers.
issues, right?
Yeah, the carryovers from the source material. It's not so much that
Yeah.
like the style aspect is like because if you look at the manga, it's like it's adapted pretty well um to the manga
Oh no, no,
style.
that's what I said. That's what I
Um
said in the beginning. Like this is the style, but I just don't think it's
yeah,
very visually distinct to like
yeah.
enhance my experience here, right? Like
Yeah,
it's not really doing a lot for me, and I don't really think the visuals get like that crazy either. Like it's particularly grounded, whereas like you look at something again, because everyone likes to make the comparison anyway. Nichijou. Not only is it visually distinct, but like
I don't really know
there's a lot of
why.
weird shit going on in Nichijou. Like there's a
Yeah, I
lot
don't
of
really
very
know. I don't
weird
really get
shit that
the
happens.
Nichijou comparison because
Oh, I
a lot
get
of
it.
Nichijou's bits are like really, like they're really out there, right? Like they're really outlandish. Like,
Nichijou, the
I
thing
mean,
is
Oh
just
because
no,
take for
that's
Nichijou,
example, like
why.
yeah,
take for example like the simple like the pen bit, right? Where like
yeah,
where Yuko or whatever, like she goes to click her pen, but she's holding it the wrong way, right? And she fucking
yeah,
stabs her finger. And then just like doing that, she shoots like a fucking laser beam out of her mouth that like pierces multiple planets in the solar system, right? And it's
yeah.
like that bit is good, um, because it's like it's animated really well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know what I compared. You know what
Yeah,
I always compare like those
like
sorts of
conceptually,
Nichijou
it's
scenes.
not the greatest
Yeah,
bit ever. Right? Like,
yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's
I
just like a super simple bit, but the fact that it's like taken to its like utmost like extreme is like what
yeah.
makes it a good bit.
Yeah, I always compare it to Fantasia 2000, right? Like the Disney movie where it's like, you know, it has like the Sorcerer's Apprentice, it has the fucking whales and stuff like that. Like that's what I compare it to because it's not those things are not super like, wow, this is such a coherent movie that like does all these things. No, it's just like the surreal nature of it is just animated to the extreme. That's the
Yeah.
yeah,
point of Fantasia
this is
2000. It's
not
the
like
point of
a
Nichijou. Yeah.
particularly this is not a particularly surreal series. I guess is another thing to get at is like
Yeah.
these jokes. Like I said, these jokes are very basic. We have seen them many a time before. These are jokes that a lot of these are jokes that you would see in like a regular like slice of life series that has comedy in it, right? Like these are not
Yeah.
Yeah,
these are not anything
I
like
think
these are
that's
not deep
why
cuts.
online a lot of people sort of latched on to like the slow motion entrance bit because like
Hmm.
as far as I've seen, that's probably the most absurdist joke so far, right? Where it's like
Yeah, I mean, in the
she
two
comes
episodes I
in,
watched, that pretty
she
much is.
breaks the door frame, like the debris hits people in the face and they're bleeding and they're like acting like it's completely normal. And it's like this is absurd, right? Um,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
then all the other
and
jokes are kind of just like, whoa, she's got antlers. Weird, right? It's like,
Yeah.
okay.
yeah, like
Yeah.
the only other really like part I got even a slight kick out of was just immediately like Nokotan outing her as a prior delinquent and like immediately everyone in the class turning around and being like, "Whoa, you were a delinquent? That's terrible. That's horrible." Like they immediately believe her in a fraction of a second. Like that was like kind of funny, but again, it's not like like to me, I'm like this really isn't doing anything for me though. Like I expected more. I expected better. I dreaded this type of scenario happening. I kind of felt like there was a slight chance because for me it was either going to be, you know,
Yeah, and,
very
like,
much sink or
just to be clear,
swim.
none of us are ever like, "Oh, I hope this anime is bad." Like, we have our because this is not the first season of anime that we've watched. It might be pretty obvious. So we have pretty like there are series where we're like, "Oh, we're 80% sure, 90% sure, 95% sure that this is just how it's going to unfold." Almost up to like just the developments like per episode or like across like different episodes, right? But it's like yeah. Like none of us are like, I hope Nokotan fucking flops or whatever. No,
Yeah, I
because
mean,
then we're
like the
watching
problem
a
is,
shitty series.
yeah,
Like,
it's like look, like I've been extremely wrong about series in the past, and I've been overjoyed to be. When we did the previews for Bocchi the Rock, I thought it was going to be a very standard, basic series. Oh, by
yeah,
the way,
yeah.
visually, nothing in the series has gone beyond, has even come close to Bocchi the Rock. By the way,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
which is another thing entirely
I mean,
that that show
that's kind of a
like
high bar.
is a high bar to clear, but still, it's like, listen, man, if that's supposed to be your whole show, and you're not even topping the bits or coming close to the bits from Bochi, like, what are we doing? Um,
Yeah.
but so like I was overjoyed to be wrong about that because I thought that was just going to be a pretty standard series. Um, I was extremely happy to be wrong about Shangri-La Frontier recently becoming like
Yeah,
one of
yeah,
my
yeah.
favorite
That's
series
definitely
like
one.
that year. And when I first saw that, I was like, no, this is gonna be shit. Like, who knows? And I wrote it off, and then I
Mhm.
watched it, and I was like, this is phenomenal. This series I was worried about. Obviously, like I was like, my initial reaction was, oh no, like I have a strong feeling that I know how this is gonna end. And then as we saw more, I was like, maybe they have something here. And then no, they didn't. At least for me, it ended exactly the way I thought it was going to.
Yeah.
And again, it's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. Like I I really wanted to have a series that was a truly like absurd humor show that was again as like had bits that were as involved and as unhinged as something from Nichijou. Like
Mhm.
or again doubled back on itself. Like
Yeah.
comes full circle. That is probably one of my biggest gripes was like I said, like the jokes do not they don't come back, right? Like you
Yeah.
see this in a lot of even like stand up specials, stand up hours and stuff like that. Like if someone has
Mhm.
a tight hour or something, the joke they started with will come full circle by the end of it.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
very
it's like it has to
satisfying.
be it ends up being the backbone of like the sketch you're doing,
Yeah.
essentially. Yeah.
It turns into it is very fun. It winds up becoming like again, like something coming full circle is a very, very satisfying way to tell a joke, to have jokes being told. But this shit kind of just like rattles off stuff to you and just keeps moving. But like keeps
Yeah.
moving, like I said, better if it was faster. But it is not. It feels pretty fucking slow for what it's doing.
Yeah.
Um so yeah, I mean, not a fan.
So,
The
yeah,
OP is
and
obviously
I
a
think
meme.
oh, yeah, yep.
The ED is the most soulful thing that the series has, and it's that they have like the shots of them making the like the work like the people who are working at this factory or whatever making those crackers.
Oh, shit.
Um
Like the
and
deer crackers, right?
yeah, the deer crackers and also a bunch of deer. Like it's just
Mm.
footage of them. Like the characters walking across the like the bottom banner of the screen and just all of that B-roll essentially. And it's really nice.
Right,
It's a really cozy ED. It's really fun. Um but yeah, I don't like just about anything else from it.
Yeah, it's also you can kind of feel the as you said, like it's trying so hard and I'll call it like desperation. You can feel the desperation not only just running through how the series was storyboarded and like kind of written out alongside like the original source material, but you can feel it in like the literal just like marketing and stuff like that. I mean, the creation of the OP itself,
Oh,
like
we need
the
to
opening like, the opening music itself, like, the initial line, like, the "Shikanoko Nokonoko Koshitantan," like, that part is, like, the only real me if you notice the rest of the opening is not, like it's just not even that good, like, even compared to, I wanna say, early like, early to late 2000s, early 2010s kind of, like, openings and shows and stuff like that, it's just, like, barely maybe average, slightly below average amongst those as well. And it's just like nothing in that opening is very good. And the only reason why it would be viral is like that very beginning part, which is like not even, I mean, it's like,
yeah, I mean listen, and also you want to
yeah,
compare shit to Nichijou. Like,
yeah,
really? Let's look at those.
yeah.
Let's look
Like
at those.
Nichijo's Chada like
Look at the
openings are
OPs. Let's look
ridiculous.
at those.
Yeah, they're
Take those
What
into
would you compare
consideration.
to? Man, girl, TQ? Where we going here?
I think TQ the issue is
TQ
it's
is
like
probably too far, but
TQ
like,
yeah and also like TQ and the reason like TQ and Shikanoko Nokotan are on a slightly different like comparison because TQ was just on the onset. It was just designed to be this just ghetto ass, like who the fuck cares? We don't even have an art director kind of series that is just like the studio was just saying, okay, how far can this go, kind of thing. Nokotan, from the start, was they were trying to barrel it down to make this some sort of whack ass viral sensation. Like, oh, we're gonna make all the memes, guys, and we're gonna be successful off the memes and the memes, bro. Blah 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 blah. And it's evident through again the marketing campaign that they ran. If you just
Yeah.
want to cover that real quick, Dark.
Yeah, so what I'm covering here is an original tweet of someone saying, "I'm surprised how receptive people have been to that Nokotan anime, considering it feels like one of the most forced and manufactured memes ever. I would expect people to see through this soulless, cynical marketing campaign, but it's been very successful." Which, yeah, no, dude,
Bro.
people are never going to see through that shit. Are you high? Are you
So,
smoking crack? That's not happening.
so,
The follow-up tweet,
so
the follow-up tweet was, "What's insane about Nokotan PR is that they went, they went around asking YouTubers to make videos on it for free before the show had even come out. I talked to a friend that
Think you mean
contacted,
exposure, sir?
yeah, and he told me that he would be down to make a Nokotan video, but as soon as he brought up how much he would like to get paid, they basically said that's not in the cards for us right now." But
I
me,
can't
yeah,
believe that they did that too.
that's good.
honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you. I have an irrational, well, no, I can rationalize it. I don't even hate the guy personally. Um, but I just like don't like anything about what he does. Little V.
Mhm.
He did a cover of this, and I genuinely would not be shocked if they fucking paid him to do it. Like, would not surprise me whatsoever, right? Because his turnaround should not be as fast as it was for this.
Mhm.
But like, yeah, like obviously like this is manufactured. Like it's pretty fucking clear that it
Yeah,
is. Because again,
it's
like Nearhead brought up, the only fucking clip that had been going around is the classroom door breaking scene. That's
yeah.
it. Which, by the way, I want to throw it out there. You know what a better door breaking scene was that also came out like just last year? Kaiju number 8
Yeah,
features a door
yeah.
breaking scene and then a follow up punchline that doubles down on the joke. Just saying.
Yeah. By the way, uh, for people who are going just like, oh no, like it's just okay to have just the door breaking scene, and you just need to have the one. Two. You guys realize that every series that actually properly becomes super popular and like has like all the different like meme clips, they have a shit ton of these. Like every like flippable anime, like again, like
Have
Beast
you
Doll, I think.
seen the Jashin-chan channel, dude? Like, that may
Yeah,
have
yeah,
been,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
technically manufactured and that was them putting out their own clips, but they shit out, like, 100 clips that were, like, 100 different bits. They were like, here's fucking a ton of bits. And it's like, that's only, like, a fraction of the content that this series has. Whereas, like,
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is,
yeah.
like, only one scene's getting passed around.
Or
And it's
like
really
again,
not
as
that
you said,
special.
like Bookie the Rock stuff, Nichijou stuff, even again, like something like Pop Team Epic had at least a couple of scenes where they had like, the voice actors like talking or doing it like ad lib or whatever, stuff like that. Like they had those scenes, but it's like Nogotan, I haven't seen really anything float up on my feed, to be honest.
Yeah, me
And
neither. And because it's like,
yeah,
what is gonna come up on your feed? Like a 5 minute clip to get entirely through this fucking joke of her hanging on the power lines that isn't
Again, it's
particularly
only the
interesting.
it's literally the one joke. It's
Yeah,
literally just
yeah,
like that's
the door breaking joke. That's
I
the
think that
only
is
joke that
genuinely
people
the
are
only
posting.
clippable one. I think
Yeah.
that might be one
yeah,
of the only clippable jokes in general because like the other ones you need like I don't know, some kind of like bullshit episode context that shouldn't matter but winds up very much mattering because like this is still structured, obviously.
yeah.
Um And then outside of that, you have the shit like again, like the visual one of like the JoJo slash Fist of the North Star stuff. It's like, and what are you gonna do? Clip that? Like, again, we've seen we've seen that a lot. We've seen it a lot, and we've seen it done a hell of a lot better. But yeah, man. I mean, people are. I mean, I know people are generally like pretty fucking dumb, but like this shit having an 8.0 is like kind of disheartening.
It's unfortunate because I think part of it's also born from this. Well, part of it's just like lowered expectation. Yeah, well, I don't want to say part of it because it's all integrated together, but it's like I think I think part of it is just like people just assuming that like, oh, it's just okay to have, just whatever be memes, and anything that's memes is valuable to me, whatever, blah blah. But I think also part of it is this set of lowered expectations, um, where people have seen so much like other crap in recent anime, they're just dying for some release, right? They're dying for something that's quote unquote different. And even if that different is just crappy ass manufacturer
Just like
viral
bottom of the
marketing meme
barrel,
stuff.
like
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
like
They'll be like, it's something different. Oh, it's the brain rot quote unquote anime that I need. Oh my god. And it's like, yeah, but you should want different stuff that's good
I
quality.
mean,
It's
again,
not
the other
just
problem
about
is
having different
you
stuff. Yeah.
talk to these people, you talk to
Yeah.
these people, and you're like, okay, but what have you watched? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
have you seen Bocchi the Rock? Have you seen Nichijou? Have you seen Yuri Yuri? Have you seen fucking, I don't know, Joshin Chan Dropkick? Like, like, have you watched these?
Yeah.
Because those aren't like old. I mean, Nichijou's
Yeah, yeah,
pretty old
exactly.
now, but some of those
Yeah.
series like are not that old, and like you can get these
Yeah.
bits delivered to you much better by them. Or if they
Mhm.
came out before, they were already delivered way better back when they were made. So it's like
Yeah.
it's just one of those things where it's like, I'm hearing the same jokes I've heard dozens of times, and not really anything new.
Mhm.
And not in a way that's new either. So it's like just a failure on all levels to me.
Yeah.
I like the Nara
Very,
Deer
very
stuff
unfortunate.
though, and the Kigurumi or whatever.
I mean, it's
I like the
okay.
marketing outside of the actual show is pretty funny.
Yeah,
Like
again, like I said,
the
like
ED is pretty good.
the
Oh
ED
yeah.
is nice. Like that is nice, and that's cool. But if I'm gonna be honest with you, the feeling that you get from the ED and that type of stuff. And again, I am Joshin Chad's #1 fucking fan, evidently. You can get it from them. Like, you can absolutely get it from them because that shit was done on a budget. Season 3 is pretty much like a 50-50 split of, what do you call it? Like regional coverage, regional advertising. Um,
Mm.
and it's like, there's a lot of marketing that went on with that was very, very fun, very funny. And it's like, but so is the show. Like, so
Yeah, 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 exactly.
it's like, all
That's
right,
the
but
important part.
you're missing the really important part here. So I don't know. It's I I'm probably not going to continue with the show. I really don't want to
Yeah.
continue with the show. I I am very much thinking like this is not does not really have the I was not
Nothing to chew
introduced
on.
in a way that has gives me faith that this gets better as time goes on, right?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't think the formula is going to change. I'd love
Yeah, I
if
mean,
I
there's not
wasn't
gonna be
if hey
huge
if I
developing
wasn't
arcs.
lazy. If I wasn't lazy, I would love to like mash together shit to like basically point out why this stuff kind of fucking sucks when you really chew on it.
Mhm.
Um, by like taking bits from other shows and trying to like turn them into this manner where they're like way over explained with especially with character monologues and stuff like that. But yeah, I can't even really say that this is a like so that's a thing like the series because I think that is like giving it too much credit, frankly.
Yeah.
And then I guess the other thing to get to was this uses AI subs apparently, so that's cool. Good job,
Yeah.
Crunchyroll.
Some people are saying that it looks like it's just done by different people. My opinion on it is probably from what I've like the various scenes that I've listened to, seen, and kind of mixed together. I think what's happened was that it's it was initially done by baseline AI and then smoothed over by an editor slash QA, but the QA slash editing wasn't done very well. I think that's what's happened.
Yeah, I
So
mean, this is
it's a
the
mixture of both.
fatal and very
Are you saying
stupid error.
Crunchyroll editing is bad?
Yeah, like
Bad.
here's the thing, dude. Like this is the really dumb fucking part about these things where it's like the whole point is that if you're going to use AI, your editing is very likely going to be dog shit because you've already cut one of the most important fucking corners. Why would your editing not be rushed too? Like the whole fucking point
Yeah.
was that you got this script shit out to you from fucking AI. Like, okay, dummy, you're gonna sit there and edit that now? The whole point was for you to get the script in 3 seconds. What are you doing?
Yeah.
So, I think that's just like a fatal like misconception that people are thinking might happen with AI or like thinking of using it. But no, like at most, literally, in order to use AI quote unquote properly in these types of scenarios, like would still involve someone doing full translation work anyway, and then like checking themselves with AI and then like comparing them. It would literally be a longer process. It would create like a more thorough process for a human and like eye to take over. So like there is no efficient way, in my opinion, to like especially a comedy series to subtitle a comedy series with artificial intelligence. Like there will never be a way to do that.
I mean, that's
Unless
not
it
going to
is
prevent the higher ups from
literally
just forcing
true
it, but
intelligence.
yeah.
It's not happening, guys. That's the really fucking ridiculous part about a lot of this shit with AI. And a lot of especially when it comes to again something like this, especially for comedy. It's like bro, comedy only works because of our functioning. Like comedy only works because of how humans like the human brain and like a consciousness. So how are you going to give that to an AI and have faith that like this machine is going to
they can change
get
the
any of
implications,
this?
right? Exactly.
Yeah, it's going to change the implications. It doesn't know what humor is. It can't react to humor. It's not even a real AI, for fuck's sake. Like we keep calling it AI. It's not actually intelligence.
It's
Like,
just matrices. Yeah, it's just a bunch of matrices.
like that's not what intelligence is. That's why the way they look at it is like how most boomers look at AI, or they're like, damn, that's like that thinks. It's like the guy from Google who's like, no, it's alive. It's like you're an idiot. Like you're schizophrenic.
Yeah.
Like you need to get help, my friend, because no, it's not possible. It is literally not possible. The hardware is not there. You will not have a software somehow function at even remotely close to this level without hardware. And the hardware is not there. Like
Can a
so
machine learn to be funny?
We're gonna find out with anime dubs.
And I guess the other thing to touch on with the AI subtitling thing is the tweet that I have pulled up here, and this is not to slight this Hireshi anime Twitter handle, this individual. this is I mean, this is good work. This is good digging, and I think this is a pretty level-headed response. Um, but I will say, like they do say, obviously, it appears that the English, French, and German subs may have been translated by AI. The translations come from the licensor Remo, and they're not technically Crunchyroll's work. While blaming the service is justified, as they could have had the option to create their own translation, we believe Remo should be held accountable as well. Now, I where I think that this is missing the forest for the trees is if the company that licensed this out is already doing this with AI, it's over. You are not convincing
Yeah.
the company that is passing off translated shit, like AI translated slop to Crunchyroll, to change their fucking ways. Like that, to me, that's not happening. I would assume that this is kind of like, I don't see them doing this essentially without the business already taking the steps to fully plunge themselves into this, if you get what I mean. I would imagine if they weren't doing this before, if this, first of all, if this place wasn't started to fucking pass around like machine translated AI, like AI translations.
Yeah, it's
That's the other thing too that I don't know. Like I could probably look them up to check, but it's like that to me seems like, no, if this company's doing this, like this is just what they do now. Like this is just their
yeah,
thing.
yeah,
You're not getting real fucking work from them. So to
yeah.
me,
It's
it's
not
like,
like a full
don't
localization
harp
place.
on, like, yeah, it's like, don't harp on that. Who fucking cares?
Yeah,
Harp on the fact that, one, why isn't Crunchyroll doing its own fucking translations anymore either? Like, are you out of your fucking mind? The fuck do we, what the fuck do people pay for at this point? Like,
core
so your
services
so
of
your dog shit
Crunchyroll is
fucking player can crash every 3 seconds?
yeah.
Like, what the fuck are we
It's
doing?
online streaming, bro. Clearly.
Like these fucking assholes are jacking up
uh,
the pricing. Their catalog fucking sucks. They have like a monopoly, and then they're like, "Yeah, by the way, we're also licensing out our fucking translations now. We know we have a fucking
I
monopoly, but
subscribe
now we
to
license them out."
Crunchyroll for the mobile game library, Dark. I don't think you
Yes,
understand.
dude. Yes.
I don't
Yeah.
need to
So
read manga or whatever. I just need to play their mobile games.
yeah, you can play their mobile games that like rotate every year. So it's like
Yeah.
it's not. I don't know, man. It's just like it's just something else to me. Like it's not great.
Yeah.
Like I think like
Yeah.
no, like
It's overall a little bit of a mess.
don't bother with criticizing the translation company, right? Because you're not. Here's the ultimate thing, especially as a consumer, you are not paying the translation company here in this case. You're not paying Remote. You're paying Crunchyroll.
Yeah.
Um, the only thing you can realistically do is demand that Crunchyroll never use them again, never use AI again, and do their in-house shit. Or at the very least,
Yeah.
license to someone who doesn't do this. If they have to fucking license the people, I don't know why, but you know. I guess that's what happens when you form a fucking monopoly instead of having studios that are dedicated to, doing these types of localizations, and then they could build an in-house like brand, not brand, but culture and community, and then make their subs better through that and learn as a whole. But who that instead get this shit. So I would
Yeah.
technically let it slide for this company and just shit on Crunchyroll because that's who you're paying.
Yeah.
That's who you're paying.
And
There's
they're the
no
ones who
other fucking
organized all
reason
of
to be
this in the
paying for
first
this.
place,
Yeah,
too.
and they fucking knew what they were getting. So
Yeah.
like, if these subtitles don't pass for us, how the hell did it pass for them? Right? Like
Yeah,
that's the other thing to keep
exactly.
in mind. Like they saw these subs. Whether or not they knew that they were AI or not, they should be like, yo, these subs are ass. Like, we fucking paid you to make these subs. What, like, these are terrible.
The secret is the Crunchyroll localization team isn't good enough to know that they're bad.
I wouldn't be. I mean, I
God.
wouldn't be shocked at this point. But it's just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Very unfortunate. But yeah, all the problems, obviously, combined how I guess any last words on the series and how would you rate this?
Um, I don't know, like a three, like a three or a four, maybe.
Yeah, three.
Probably like a three, a light three.
Mhm. Okay,
Yeah, not a fan.
so yeah, it's very again, we don't want none of us want this, an anime series to be a failure because then we're just stuck with watching more shitty anime. But it is unfortunate that unfortunately, Nokotan kind of ended up being more of a marketing shtick, and the insides, the innards of the anime was much more hollow than any of us had wanted it to be. So
Yeah, it's just boring. It's just like
yeah,
that's really the ultimate thing. Like I'm not pissed off because
yeah,
like I'm offended by anything. I'm pissed off because it's like
just
this was
disappointed.
boring. Yeah, like this was
I'm not
boring.
angry, just
I mean,
disappointed.
I'm
Yeah.
angry. I'm angry because I was disappointed.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, again, thank you, Dark, for at least slogging through that portion to help review the series. Again, it is Shikanoko Nokonoko Koshitantan, my dear friend Nokotan. It is I believe, manga original that has been adapted now into an anime by Wit Studio. This is their second series this season. The other series, of course, being the other one that Nier just reviewed just now, which was Isekai Suicide Squad. Yeah, so it is a meme series. I don't know what else to say about it, but yeah, you'll see the song being danced to or whatever on TikTok here and there. So yeah, so that was our review of Nokotan. Again, thank you very much, Dark. And we are now moving on to the news. Most of the news this time around, real quick, is pretty much just company news. So I'm going to try to blast through most of it real quick. First off, Studio 3 Hertz. So they did. So Studio 3 Hertz is like a company that was formed about 11 years ago after one of the members of Kinema Citrus, or actually one of the co-founders of Kinema Citrus left, and he formed the studio. And I believe Studio 3 Hertz has done a lot of like in between, like second, like second animation stuff like that. But they've also, I think, being main producers in something like Princess Principal, um, or they've helped out with Princess Principal, Foot Flappers, um, Gun Gale Alliance, stuff like that, Healer Girl, Celestial Method, so on and so forth, Marginal Service. So, Studio Third Hertz has announced on Monday that it has transferred its animation and production business to A1 Pictures. The company added that its business will continue at A1 Pictures. So the pretty much it's been acquired or sucked up by A1 Pictures. So again, this is part of the consolidation that's been happening, right, amongst companies. Um, on another piece of news, Cyber Agent announced on Wednesday that it has decided to acquire the creative company Nitro Plus for about 104 million US dollars. As of July 1st, Cyber Agent will hold a 72.5% controlling stake in Nitroplus, which will become part of the Cyber Agent group of companies as a subsidiary. So, for those of you who don't know, I mean, a lot of people should know by now, especially people who listen into the podcast. But Cyber Agent is a huge umbrella company. They have um a lot of like the popular Japanese media kind of platforms and companies that you guys might know within the anime industry. They have Abema TV, a decently popular streaming platform. I believe. I mean, they. I think the most famous with regards to anime fans is probably they have ownership of Side Games and all of the relevant sister companies there. They have a couple of other stuff. I believe most of Cyber Agent like the smaller like anime related companies do run in the red, and it's like kind of made up by Abima TV going plus going in the positives. But in general, they do suck up these different anime publishing and these sorts of anime related, I guess, visual novel related companies here and there, and this is just like part of them, I guess, again consolidating their power and kind of doing a lot of stuff more in house. So yeah, again, more just acquisitions by these bigger companies. So we'll see how it goes. We'll probably see some, flow of like manpower and like, collaboration and projects between Nitro Plus and Side Games in, I wouldn't say the near future, but we'll see. Let's see this. Some more company news. I want to hit all the company news before we move on to some different stuff. But digital manga publisher Azuki announced it at uh, its Anime Expo 2024 panel on Saturday that it has partnered with J Novel Club to distribute some of J Novel Club's manga titles. So, um, they are, I believe, I don't, yeah, they're a digital publisher, so they're just trying to put it onto more platforms. More news. This might be a little bit more positive here. Japanese company Chocolate Incorporated, who did some like live action stuff. VFX studio Kasen Inc., who helped doing VFX for the live action Yu Yu Hakusho, and concept artist group Wakajak, who helped do Resident Evil Infinite Darkness production stuff, have jointly established a new animation studio called Studio Doto, and also announced its business partnership with Ponyu Canyon Incorporated on July 4th. Studio Doto and Ponyu Canyon aim to work towards creating quote unquote animation works that will be loved all over the world, starting with a KillTube original anime film, Studio Doto's first animation production. Uh, blah blah. They established Studio to bring together various professionals to create quote unquote new ways of making things without being bound by the boundaries of their respective fields of expertise or industry conventions. So essentially, um, I think what is happening is that, uh, uh, I mean, Pony Canyon is obviously going to toss them like help be part of the production company that helps toss them new stuff, but they're not. I mean, this is just like 1 degree away from really being in-house, but a lot of them are kind of being sucked in to create this sort of not really in-house, but kind of in-house a studio from what I see. I do think this is better than just like the studios being outright acquired. I think making these new smaller studios that have um kind of these like, I guess, quote unquote more freedom in a sense, or like are technically independent studios is better than just some, studio being snapped up, or some studio being snapped up by Kodansha or Shueisha or wherever, right? Or Katakawa or wherever. I do think it's better than that, but we'll have to see what works it makes. I am kind of looking forward to it, but so yeah. Next on company news. Sony Music Entertainment Japan (SMEJ) announced on Wednesday that it and a subsidiary Aniplex, along with Palworld game developer Pocket Pair, have established a new joint venture named Palworld Entertainment. The venture aims to expand and develop "quote unquote" new business for the Palworld game, as well as develop the intellectual property's reach, licensing, and merchandising outside of the game.
Mr.
Please
Window
don't
on that
do
one.
that.
Mr. Window on that one, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah,
I also
really. I
think
mean, like the expansion and stuff is apparently going well and everything, but it's like
Yeah, but like
really
nobody
like the
nobody
merch.
talks about Power World. Like,
Yeah, it's like
I
the
also think
merch.
that
Like what?
Palworld
It's like, bro, don't step out of
Palworld,
line.
yeah,
Like
the
we all
merch.
get you're just like off-brand Pokemon.
Yeah.
Like, let's not get it twisted. Like some of your
Yeah.
designs are fine and fun, but I don't know if anyone's buying that shit.
Yeah, also the point is like the whole draw of Palworld is that it was a miracle, a miracle story in terms of game dev success, and B, um, that the game mechanics and stuff like that harkened to partly nostalgia, but just like it was sort of the game mechanics being popular that really drove the game. And it's not like the designs of the pals in the game that drove Pal World. You know what I mean? It's like there's a big difference where with Pokemon, I mean, yes, the first generation Pokemon also did like similar word of mouth and like design stuff like that. But ultimately, Pokemon um is now driven by the infamous, not infamous, famous Pokemon designs, right? Like the game can be any whatever fucking shitty game design, right? It is. I mean, you can see it just, even like the MOBA stuff like that, right? But as long as it has Pikachu, as long as it has Eevee, as long as it has, I don't know, fucking Togepi or whatever, right? Gengar, um, Pokemon will keep running strong. It doesn't matter. But Pal World is not the same at all. So I don't know why they're trying to expand the intellectual properties reach with merchandising outside of the game because nobody gives a fuck. Nobody gives
Yeah,
a
I
fuck
mean, like
about.
I said this when Power World was also at its height too. It's like, it's a cute idea, it's a fun thing. I think it's like probably one of the best examples of like
Mm,
I think like the avoidance of like IP law, you know what I mean? Like it is not exactly like a clone, it's not exactly a copy. It is doing something fun that would otherwise get you like fucking shot in the face if you try to do this out of the US. Um
yeah.
but it's like uh, yeah, like if Pokemon Company, like if Nintendo, wisened up and like made a game that wasn't a piece of shit like Arceus and was like a even if it wasn't like a survival game, but was more like had elements of that, like crafting, open world, um, you're walking around with your Pokemon. Like literally if they made a Pokemon game that was full 3D and was like more of a like sim game with a Pokemon game within it, like
Yeah.
no one would play Power World. Like, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, but like no one would fucking play Power World. Like if you do that,
It's because
if you throw that shit out
yeah.
there and you give it like not like housing as well, and if you made it an online service for God's sake as well, like
Just
that
get
would just
make
print
better
money,
NPCs too. Yeah.
infinitely print money. Like
Yeah.
that's it.
I keep saying this, but it's like what people want also from Pokemon now is they want I mean, that's part of why Arceus was successful, but they want um Pokemon is like the one game where they want something that's a little bit people want something that's a little bit more open world, or they want to like talk to NPCs and do more than just like battle the bug catcher or whatever, you know what I mean? It's like they want to do not Pokemon battle related stuff. And so if that's part of again the draw of Pal World. And so yeah, I agree with you where it's like if they just Nintendo had just allowed for that, then it would have been over. But they didn't. So here
I
we
mean, there's
are.
still time. I will say there is
Yeah.
always time, right? Because the opportunity to make like a Life Sim Pokemon game is always there. Like, right? You can look
Yeah.
at, but I mean, that would also require Nintendo to, look at any other contemporary fucking game on the market and think, wait a minute, maybe, like, I don't know, maybe be in touch with shit like every single MMO under the sun, being like, okay, we like have to actually like do housing now. Like, we have to have side skills. We have to
Yeah.
have life skill
Yeah.
gameplay. Because if we don't do
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
we're missing out massively. And I believe
Actually, proper
now,
crafting
granted,
trees,
doesn't
skill
have it
trees.
yet. Yeah, like doesn't have it yet. Like WoW doesn't have player housing yet, but I am almost positive it is going to be in the next expansion in 2 years.
Yeah. 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 All right. So that's the Pal World stuff. And one last piece of company related news before we go on to just we start wrapping up. This is a very big one and one slightly close to my heart. Um, Kadokawa announced on Thursday that it has acquired anime studio Dogakobo and it will make it a subsidiary of the conglomerate. So this news actually comes just after their celebration of the 50th anniversary, which they did by creating Jellyfish Can't Swim in the Night anime last season. So right after celebrating that, they got snapped up. Obviously, again, Dogakobo known for works such as Yuri Yuri, Nozaki-kun, New Game, Umaru-chan, so on and so forth. Um, Kadokawa's anime studios now consists of the subsidiary studios Dogakobo, Engi, Studio Kadan, Raging Bull, and the newly formed Bellnox Films, as well as the affiliated company Kinema Citrus. Note, again, reminder that Kadokawa was recently hit by a cyber attack that included ransomware on June 8th. The company is still investigating the attack and working to restore services. Its Duengo subsidiaries Nico Nico Video Services remain suspended. So, again, I just
Why is consolidation so bad? I see no problems with it.
yeah.
What do you mean?
eh, eh, like other than the stuff like the usual consolidation and how it can potentially affect the industry aside, the stuff that we've been harping on for ages, I think also something that's a little bit more unique both to um Japan and the modern era, right, is that they're just, and we've said this once or twice before too, I think, but there are just so many cyber attack threats going on right now. Everybody's getting hit, and Japan especially is not known for their cutting
Robust
edge
infrastructure.
internet. Yeah, robust infrastructure and internet, advanced internet technology amongst their sites, right?
Or
Um,
software at all.
yeah, yeah, network security, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? And tack on top of that, the fact that they have all these huge media conglomerates and not just Sony stuff, but these publishers, and now they're sucking up more and more different studios under one belt and putting them under putting the data. Obviously, they're not necessarily taking all of the same infrastructure and putting it all in the same place, like some data lake or something like that, but they are certainly taking they have a globalized centralized set of information stored somewhere, right? That covers major swaths of the Kadokawa conglomerate or whatever conglomerate, right? So because of this, there's a higher chance that these sorts of cyber attacks, these sorts of security data breaches and leaks will release more and more sensitive, like large scale sensitive information. Before it was just like, I mean, obviously, even before we had stuff like the Equifax breach, right, which is probably one of the most infamous recent data breaches in the Western sphere, where there's just like hundreds of thousands, I think millions of people, right, or just like yeah, hundreds of thousands of people had their um like security numbers and like all their sensitive information leaked, and it's going to be the same where it's not just going to be a list of say 1,000 customers or whatever. It's going to be tens of thousands, potentially hundreds of thousands of staff, of customers, whoever, who have information registered with these companies. And since a lot of them are wanting to do like digital purchases and digitalization, guess what? That also means that financial information will potentially be accessible. And so it's just like, come on, guys. Like, you guys either, like, if you guys are going to continue with this consolidation path, you guys need to shape up. Like, we can't have fucking 70-year-old CEOs being like, yeah, not updating infrastructure security, network infrastructure security on our servers is completely fine. We could just have data like just be be 100-year-old hardware and not have uh not have IT/security do proper checks. It's like that's fine. Like no, you guys need to wisen up because more of these cyber attacks will be coming and not less. So it's a scary future. And again, like a lot of these things are being integrated together, right? Like payment systems and stuff like that. So it's just so much information that's going to be available in terms of breaches. So yeah, that's the
Seems
last
fine
piece
to
of
me.
company. Yeah, I am willing to let our cyber attacking, hacking overlords take all of my credit information at any
Yeah.
time. So, uh, so last piece of news here: J Novel Club announced the winners of its JNC Original Light Novel contest during its Anime Expo panel on Thursday. The contest sought entries for original English light novels over the past year. J Novel Club also announced that it will hold another contest this year with more details announced at a later date. So I'm not going to go over like every single winner and like its summaries or anything like that. I'm just going to try to skim over with like the titles and stuff like and so on. But for the most part, uh, a lot of it's like kind of just like sci-fi or like fantasy-ish adventures, and I think at least a third of it, if not more, is isekai or like 40% of it of the winners here are isekai
Yippee.
stuff, which is a little bit like I understand why that happened because it's the situation. Like the people reading this sort of stuff on J Novel Club is not gonna be they're not gonna be writing you know, Latin American postmodernist fiction, right? They're gonna be writing fucking isekai stuff. But it is still a little bit disappointing in a sense, you know what I mean? Because there's a romance to seeing English novels being, kind of introduced into the Japanese anime cultural ecosystem slash sphere. And I think, if you're just gonna be like, I'm gonna write an isekai, but in English now, it's like, okay, well, like, okay, like, sure, but yeah,
They're entrepreneurs, dude.
yeah, don't fix what's not broke, right? Um, Grand Prize winner, John W. Romans, Atlas, her the combatant, and him the hero. Uh, yeah. So,
Whoa, is that like Himmel
other
the hero? Whoa, dude.
yeah. First prize winners include Quadrillions, Beautiful Daydream, Capax, Unruly Summon, oh no, and Laura M. Drake's Clockwork Clues When Death Comes Ticking. Let's see this. I think Beautiful Daydream is like some lesbian kind of like Jose magazine kind of stuff. Or Yuri, I guess. Unruly Summon, Isekai, Clockwork Clues, some mystery stuff. Um, the Book Walker prize winner is Hunger's The Adorable Dungeon Master. I don't think I need to explain what that sort of stuff is. Runner-up prize winners include Selena Pigoni's Promise to a Dragon. Dabi Hime's The Young Lady is a substitute harvest goddess. Jan
God, dude.
Alexa's It's Tough Being a Necromancer. And Gary's The Dragon and the Blade Saint. This isn't where we end. The winners will receive $1,000 US. So,
Wow. Please
congratulations to the
clap.
winners. Please. This is the future of English fanfiction isekai novels that will eventually
Oh
get potentially get
boy.
adapted into the anime? Question mark?
We're
Oh my god.
running out of fucking Shosetsu novels, so let's look overseas. See what kind of
Yeah, bro.
let's see what kind of
We could
slop the
breed
fucking teenagers are writing overseas.
Yeah, though,
we
bro, we gotta
breed
get
the
on
new generation of
actual
isekai.
fanfiction.net now. So
Yeah,
just straight
we're
up,
gonna take
like we're cutting out the middleman.
When's
Twilight
Yeah,
isekai, bro.
that's the next East-West collab, dude, is the
The Twilight
Twilight
isekai.
anime adaptation.
50 Shades of Grey isekai.
Fuck
Fucking
yeah.
god damn it. All right. Anyways, that was it for the news. And last but not least, we have our shoutouts and callouts corner. Everybody here gets one shout out and one call out each. Shout out is something that you want to praise, 5 out of 5 stars. Shout to the heavens, and it can be any one person, place, or thing. And of course, call out is the exact opposite. 0 out of 5, something that you want to rant or rage about. And again, it can be any one person, place, or thing. And we'll start now with Dark.
Wow, me.
Mm-hmm.
I am gonna shout out. I think I'm gonna shout out Zenless Zone Zero. I've been liking that game quite a lot. I think it's got a real cool aesthetic. And I think it's got real cool music, and I think it's got real cool just style. I think it's fun. I think it's got a lot of charm, especially with a lot of the day-to-day stuff. I don't know if you really if you were in here for that, but it's like, you know, like to get your daily stamina refill of like 60 stamina, you go to like this cool little coffee shop with a coffee robot, and you choose your different type of coffee depending on what like material you want boosted for your like gains. And there's just a lot of little details like that. You know, you log in, you go to your newsstand, you get a newspaper and a little scratch ticket that'll give you like either some premium currency or some like regular like coin currency. And just a lot of little things like that. I think a lot of the theming is really, really good. But yeah, and then I think my call out is gonna be to just a lot of like the discussion and gamers like with FF14 with the new expansion, because like I've been seeing so many people that are like,
It's gone woke, dude.
yeah, dude. Well, I mean, it's not even just that. A lot of people who are like literally just like borderline like media illiterate. Like, you know, spoiler alert, this expansion has themes of colonialism, themes of realistically like, I don't know if you'd want to call it what you want to refer to it as, whether it be like capitalism itself or just the idea of like, you know, improper ill-gotten gains are still ill-gotten and gross even when you like clean them up aesthetically. So, you know, it's got a lot going for it, and I don't see like many people talking about it, especially when they go to critique it. And it leads me to believe that it just passed over people's heads. So
Yeah, people are just kind of, I don't know.
yeah, and then
People
there's
are always
also
very surprised.
there's yeah, I mean there's also the other aspect of like what do you call it? The whole thing that I keep hearing where people are like, yeah, but like this main character, like a lot of them are brushing off of her because they're like her English voice is bad. And I'm just like, okay, so play in Japanese. And people act like I'm fucking insane. And it's like, bro, this is a Japanese game. Like, this is the native language for it is Japanese. Like, if you think a voice actor fucking sucks in English, why do you keep playing in English? Like, and it was like I was saying earlier, where it's like, you know, no like big smoke to the like what do you call it? The like theater people for the English dub, because some of them do really good work. A lot of them do really good work, but like some of it's not great. And then you're brushing up against the fact that it's like, do you really think that people with like, again, like a star-studded fucking voice cast for the Japanese voices in this, like, are going to like, you know, they're like English theater?
I mean, it's not even just the Japanese. Like, even the French and German dubs are like leagues ahead of the English dub. It's kind of unreal.
Yeah. I mean, frankly, that's probably also because of like. Actually, no, I don't know. I don't know what would cause that. But either way, like my main point is like shit like, you know, especially when it comes with the Japanese dub, like, and just people being like basically like, thinking you're fucking crazy for suggesting playing in that. It's like, well, like, bro, like, have you seen the bona fides of the actors that are in the Japanese dub? Like, You don't think that people who have literally hundreds of voice acting roles under their belt at this point, like, you don't think that that means anything for like the quality of the
Yeah.
dub? Like, just baseline? Like, yeah, that's gonna make for a much better experience for you. So it's like, yeah, try something new. Try something a little different. Just because you don't understand the language doesn't mean you can't appreciate it. Imagine that. Imagine performances being universal, whether you understand the fucking language or not.
No, I can't understand emotion unless I can understand the language perfectly, okay?
What
If
they're
I
saying is
don't
true,
have native
true.
fluency, I don't know whether a person is sad or happy. It's just impossible.
Very true.
I'm upset.
But yeah, I guess that's shout out caller, right? And then
Yeah.
thank you, Dirk and Near. What about you? Shout out call, please.
I'm gonna shout out Final Fantasy XIV's content cadence for this expansion. I think the content, the gameplay is really good. I think the dungeons are some of the best they've ever released, especially in terms of leveling dungeons. The leveling dungeons are really, really good. The trials that, the normal trials are pretty good. I've done one of the extreme trials so far, and that was pretty good. Yeah, looking forward to the raids that should be coming out in like 3 days, I think, if they're keeping up a schedule. And then after that, we get Savage, which is pretty pog. But yeah, looking forward to it. As for callouts, I'm not too sure. I guess callouts to, I'll mirror Darks. I'll call out Zenless Zone Zero. Because when I first played, I did because so when the game came out, they were like, "Oh yeah, you get all these free rolls, new player, right?" And you get a bunch of free rolls. But all the free rolls that you get are for the standard banner, right? Which is pretty normal, I guess, for a lot of these gachas, right? However, the issue with the standard banner is, you know how the standard rule for a gacha game is every 10 rolls you get like a 4-star or whatever, right? Like
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah. Or you get
standard,
like a
like
token that
whatever
counts
is,
towards, you get
yeah,
something,
like
yeah.
whatever is considered like lower than a 5-star or an SSR or whatever, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Zenless has that, but the issue is Zenless's gacha is characters and gear all
Oh, it's
mixed
one pool.
together, right?
I
Yes.
It's a
remember there was
Hoyoverse game,
so-
baby.
And so the issue is when it says guaranteed A rank, it does not mean guaranteed character, right? You don't so you can do multiple 10 rolls and not get a single character, which is exactly what happened to me. I did like 30 rolls and I got like one dupe character. And I was
Didn't
like,
Dragalia Lost or whatever like also do something
yes,
similar? It
yeah.
was fucked, yeah.
Yeah, it
Dude,
was
I'm
fucked.
telling
I
you,
think they
all
actually
of
had to
Hoyoverse's
revamp.
games do it as well.
I think they actually had
It's
to revamp
it
Dragalia
sucks.
Lost.
Like,
But,
it's really annoying.
Stupid as fuck.
Yeah, I was at the point where I was like, I don't think I want to play this like at all. If this is going to be the gacha experience, because I play FGO, right? And
Yeah.
FGO is probably one of the least lenient and like forgiving gacha systems that is like currently on the market. Largely due to the fact that it's like I think it's pushing like 9 years old in JP. And they really have not revamped gacha at all. they've added like a really shitty pity system, but it's still like dog shit rates, and there's like no basically no like guaranteed SSR like system at
Yeah.
all, unless you pull like 600 fucking times on a single banner, which is unreal. And still, FGO has a system where every 10 roll, you not only get a 4-star, you also get a guaranteed servant every roll, whether that's a 3-star or above, right? So no matter what, you're at least getting like the hope of a 5-star character, right? But Zenless doesn't even fucking give a shit. It's like, yeah, you get all gear. All you get is gear. You get all your main roll is just a bunch of fucking orbs. It's like this sucks. This fucking sucks. Especially because Hoyoverse games are really fucking stingy with the rolls too.
Not very FTP, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
So
in order to like, you can essentially, I think you can afford a guaranteed character usually every other patch, maybe, if you do all the events.
Yeah, like
Maybe?
if you're fucking grinding. But
Because you got to remember that all of Hoyo versus games all function on the same thing, where it's 90 rolls. Every single roll you do increases your percentage chance of getting a 5-star, but then it's 50-50. If you lose a 50-50, you don't get the banner character in the premium roll.
Yeah.
In the standard roll, it's still 90, and you'd be like me, and on your second 5-star pity, you get a weapon for a character that you don't have, and you have no plans on getting, and there's not another physical DPS in sight, so don't know what I'm
sure you'll get her eventually.
Don't know what I'm doing with that. Yeah, but, I kind of don't even care though.
I mean, she's good.
I don't really want her. Yeah,
she's good.
Sure, but
she just needs support. But yeah, Zenless has got your experience. Not so good, but the game is fun.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Nier. Toast. Shout out, call out, please.
My shout out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna shout out
Dodgers.
No. I'm gonna shout out War.
Okay, hot take.
Nice.
Gee, I love War.
All right.
No, I don't love War. I'm gonna shout out Justice, I guess. I don't know. I got nothing.
Justice.
That's pretty cool.
I love
Justice. Is
Justice.
nice. I do like morals, yes.
Oh, who cares? I like the green one. She's cool.
Oh,
Okay.
he's talking about Hololive.
Yeah.
Oh, he's talking about Hollow. God damn it. All
Yeah,
right.
that was called Justice.
Okay.
Which call
what?
out?
Oh, my call out. My call out. My call out is never dive too deep.
True.
You too?
No, you'll never get it from me. I'll never tell.
Oh, okay.
But never dive too deep.
I see.
You'll just regret it in the end.
Words of wisdom.
Okay. All right. Well,
One
thank you
day
very
you'll
much.
understand when you dive in too deep.
All
But
right.
for
Well,
now,
thank you very.
for now, I will take the secret to the grave.
All right. Thank you very much, Toast. Then, uh, shout out call out, I guess. For me, shout out to what should I shout out? I don't really have. God dang it.
Life sucks, eh?
Yeah, it's over. But I guess I don't know. I don't know what to shout out. I'll come back to that. But it's like I'll probably just shout out the same sort of
Do you like
uh
McDonald's fire?
what?
Do you like McDonald's?
Not really. Like I don't hate it, but I'm not like going out like wow. I have to freaking use it like or not
Your
use it. Sorry,
favorite
I
thing at
have, I have to
McDonald's.
eat it. My favorite thing at McDonald's would be probably like hash brown or quarter pounder, right?
All right, here we go. Check out what I just posted.
What?
What I just posted.
Damn, she's
God
got
damn
two of
it.
them.
It was active boycott against McDonald's for me. What the fuck? Okay.
So dumb. I hate
Jesus
Twitter so
fucking
much, dude.
Christ. Oh my god. But yeah, I guess shout out to Hayami Saori for, even if the series that I watched was not that great, her voice acting was good, and that's part of why the series was carried by the anime adaptation is at least carried by her. So shout out to that. Um Call out to the fucking comic kit people for not properly I don't know. It's just like they have so for people who live overseas and can't just, buy the wristband or the proper tickets um and get them like physically before the event in Japan, uh you have to buy wristbands or like essentially QR codes for them to like scan at the gate at Comiket beforehand. But the ticket site, like the actual page to buy Comiket like tickets, aren't like available until weren't available until July 13th. So I had to just keep continuing to fucking Google like Comic Con 104 tickets or whatever until I finally got it on the day of and then bought it. But it was so stupid. Like, just have the site and then have the tickets not be available yet, and then have the tickets be available when the time is. It's not that hard. Like, why? Why does Japan use such freaking shitty sites all the time for everything? For registering, for like trying to find out maps or reviews, buying tickets, just like why? Just use sites that like work, bro. What is wrong with you people? Oh my god. So that's my call out.
Stay home, Gaijin pig.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Leave
just
the
don't get the
side
culture,
leave being
bro.
attacked cyber leave the cyber attacks to us. So we're gonna be the ones being
Yeah.
attacked, okay? But yeah. So that was my call out and shout out. And with that, we are finally done with the first set of reviews for the summer 2024 season. We're going to have four more reviews probably after this one, and then similar schedule as last time. So just going through it, we do have some decently big names coming up down the pipe as well. So hopefully we can get a pretty thorough coverage. But as always, if you do like what we do, we stream our podcast every other Saturday, starting from 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Uh, at twitch.tv/4player animecast. That's the number 4, where we talk about the latest and greatest in Japanese animation related media, anime, manga, light novels, web novels, visual novels, and so much more. So you can check us out here as well as on our recording on Twitch. As well as on YouTube, where we have highlights, clips, different sections, individual reviews, and stuff like that. So, whichever format you desire. We have updates and news on our social media pages on Facebook, 4Play Animecast, and on Twitter/x.com, handle at 4PP Animecast, again, all with the numeral 4. So check us out here, check us out there, and as always, we'll see you next time.